Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Coming at you from the dank in Newtown, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 39. Hello, I am your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and joining me in the dank tonight is...
Christian, how you going?
And...
My name fell in the deep fryer. I'll get it out. How?
And for listeners out there, you'll know that silly bugger is BT, a regular guest, but tonight we have a new guest, Christian Roy.
How you going?
How you? Yeah, good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm breathtaking.
Yes, you are. So Germans would say Atemlost. I only know that because when I was over there for Oktoberfest, that was the big pop song at the time.
Yeah, right.
Atemlost, Neusticker.
I was too
I thought you
busy.
were going to say
telling-
like someone had called you that and you were like, oh my.
They all laugh like Santa. It's so good.
Anyway, and so thank you for joining us tonight here.
You're welcome.
And so we do like to ask our new guest, tell us about The Simpsons and you. Where did it first start?
Started when I was very young and I needed to escape the real world. You know, we could all relate to Bart as a
yeah.
young kid being a little shit. Yeah.
So was it allowed in your household? We've noticed that a few...
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah,
Yeah?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost mandatory.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like that, hey, you either have that friend that couldn't watch The Simpsons at all, and
Yeah.
like Jacques last week, it was like a legal contraband, the VHS tapes in his
Really?
house. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think it was starting to calm me down, you know what I mean? Because I was so like ADHD as a kid and I
Yeah,
was
they're just
running
like,
around screaming.
Sit still for a half hour. God
Yeah.
damn, here's some cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. You know, watch a cartoon character which kind of acts like you on the reg. You know.
Well, and that way we could sort of vicariously live through Bart and go, oh, that's what the negative repercussions of that.
Yeah, I'm not
Yes.
being strangled. My life is good.
He did get away with a lot, though.
He did.
That's true.
So did I.
Well, he also had detention every single day.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't get away with that.
So did I.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we never usually talk about the chalkboard gags, but there was one I caught on a recent rewatching of a new season episode, and it was after 25 years, you'd think I'd come up with a new punishment for me.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's so true, actually.
All right, and well, yeah, thank you for joining us again. And yes, this is the Simpsons Index, the podcast where we review 3 episodes of Simpsons at a time. The catch is each episode comes from a different decade, and we like to watch the newer ones first and save the best till last, as they say. And we just watched an episode from the HD era from, it was season 24, episode 10, Test Before Trying. This episode first aired in January 2013. And in this episode, facing the Springfield Elementary being shut down, all eyes are on Bart as the one person who didn't do the test that would save their school, and it sort of follows him as he tries to study up for the test. Very reminiscent of Bart Gets an F back in the day. And in the B story, Homer finds an abandoned parking meter and starts using it as a way to scam Springfield 50 cents at a time. Guys, what did you think?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say pretty good. I'm saying not bad.
Yeah, wasn't intolerable.
Yeah.
I don't think I've... Well, yeah, as I was saying before we were recording and everything was... Yeah, I haven't... literally haven't watched an episode for the last 5-6 years or something like
Yeah.
that, so none of the new ones.
For the HD era.
So different. So
Yeah, it is.
different.
So it starts out with a Kent Brockman news report about Mr. Burns' rake hike, and I like the classic gag about Burns weighs so little that they need to put rocks on him in his pockets.
This is one of those rare moments where telling is better than showing, where
Yeah.
he's like, I'm understanding Mr. Burns is approaching the podium. He is having some trouble with some stairs. He's up the stairs, but is getting blown away. They've put some rocks in his pockets to hold him down. And then, yeah, you finally cut to Mr. Burns, who's just slightly swaying in the breeze, but the rocks are holding him in. It's a good bit.
Yeah. It's just, beautifully subtle in when they cut the animation to Burnsy.
Yeah, there are a few points in this one where they do just let the background jokes hang, and then there's a couple of instances where they do point them out, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and so he decides on the percentage of the rake hike depending on which person his hounds maul.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Essentially.
There's also a really quick joke that I enjoy where he's speaking to Spindler and goes, notice how the Keynesians climb trees while the other economist person's name I've forgotten right underneath rocks. I'm like,
Yeah.
I get that joke because I heard the term Keynesian economics the other day. Yes, good, do continue.
And they want to hide under rocks? Apparently.
But hey, we got an economist,
Economist.
thank you, Jesus. Economist gag. in The Simpsons.
It's not the economy.
Look, I need you to shut up, but I also need you to keep talking.
It helps. And so he decides on a 17% rate hike.
Yeah, now who can't words?
Oh, I just noticed it was a neat little spoonerism there. Sort of. Anyway. 17%. So electricity becomes too expensive for everyone. And they do the classic, looking around how it affects everyone.
You get a weird Hans Moleman hooked up to life support, and his kids are like, we're going to pull the plug. And he's like, do I get a say in this?
Yeah. Because you see Hans Moleman die a lot, right? But
Yeah.
you never
Yeah.
see his kids fucking
No, that's right.
euthanize him.
I did like the potato power.
Oh,
the
yeah,
projector. That just like, I don't know, is there merit to that?
I'm pretty sure that's how potatoes work, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it works for very low power things. I think you can power a small light bulb or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's not so much that it generates electricity as that it can act as a conduit.
I think it's got a bit of generation.
I thought it was just because potato is awesome.
Yeah, also that. Yeah, sometimes electricity likes to run on carbs like the rest of us.
Yes.
But hey, if Portal 2 has taught us anything, is you can run a fairly sophisticated operating system off a potato.
Wow.
Yeah,
The future that Portal lays out is one to be looking forward to.
it is. Portal guns and potatoes.
And snarky robots.
I know. What's not to love?
I liked the joke when they cut to the Simpsons house and they're throwing out the electronic prawn peeler.
Yep. And their electronic prawn
And the poo
deveiner.
extractor.
The poo pipe extractor.
Yeah, Beach had the real word for it.
Well, that's the American word for it. In Australia, we call it a poo pipe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
poo pipe.
'cause we know what that is not a vein.
See, that's in America. It's all about the shrimp deveiner. In Australia, it's getting rid of the poo pipe off the prawns, mate.
You did that really well. I was even like, wow, that's actually an Aussie accent right there.
Funny, an Australian can do a good Australian accent.
Yeah, how weird, right?
Fuck it. Yeah.
Oh, nah, yeah.
You hang
yeah.
out with me and Shag all the time, and we are like the least Australians you will meet.
Oh, yeah.
We do have a good line when they're talking about shrimps, and Homer just says, yeah, okay, we can do any of that stuff anyway. I gave up on shrimp cocktails when I realized they didn't have alcohol.
Yeah.
It's a nice little bit. I like
Yeah.
it.
And so they cut to the school and they do, they have the projector running off potato power. And they get to the start of a documentary called Sometimes Why, apparently about the transgendered nature of the letter Y.
And Y just goes both ways. That doesn't necessarily mean it's transgender. Sure, it says it in a suit and then in a dress, and that's where they're
Yeah.
going with metaphor, but unfortunately it then dies out at that point.
Yeah, it was just a little weird cut thing. I think it's funny, but I'm not sure.
I don't even remember that bit. I think I was just concentrating on potatoes.
Yeah. I could power everything with these things.
What can I do now?
Then you'd have to not eat them. That's the problem.
Ah.
Yeah. They looked into potato power, but everyone was like, but surely it cooks after a while and then is edible and delicious. Also, everything would then smell of fries. You'd be constantly hungry. It'd be a beautiful nightmare, but still.
I love the idea that, the Irish could have been 100 years more advanced of a society if they stopped fucking eating the potatoes and actually used them for technological benefits.
Yep. Wow.
But
now
no,
that-
whiskey was meant to power cars and potatoes was meant to power everything else, and they fucking kept drinking and eating all of it.
Yep. Meanwhile, over in Russia, they could have advanced, but they just figured out you could turn potatoes into, vodka.
Yes.
Just no advancement made when you can eat your fuel.
Yeah.
They just advanced the world's happiness.
Yeah, exactly. So, who's winning there? Russia.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a quick good line where Mr. Bopple has to leave the office for a little bit. The classroom for a little bit. And she's like, and you can't misbehave because I have a spy in Millhouse. Goes, you said you wouldn't tell. Oh, you didn't. So no one knows who the Millhouse is.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, no, that was a good one, and it's classic, Milhouse outing himself and But yeah, it was a good gag from Milhouse and very in character for him. But the next bit is the teachers all gather in the teachers' lounge, and Mr. Largo's complaining, "Oh, I had to sell all the trombone mutes." And then
Yeah.
Nelson walks by going, "Ha ha," into a trombone mute. It felt so forced.
It did. And there's another bad joke where they'll, in this very same scene, where they go on to, this school was already cutting costs. How else could we have, got a lunch lady who apparently allegedly murdered her husband? Lunch lady Doris is
Yeah.
all, "Oh yeah, allegedly, never convicted. Does anyone want some Pete pot pie?" And it's like, sorry, chicken Pete pie. And it's like, really? That makes no sense. If she killed her husband before she was hired, then he'd be dead for like the last 30 years.
Yep.
She doesn't have pie of him right there. It's just it's the dumb bit where it's like, here's the joke and here's the evidence of the joke and look at the joke again, and do you understand the joke? Because this is what the joke is. It's a pie, but it's made out of a husband Pete. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you?
Because I'm a murderer.
Get
it?
You know what? Let me draw you a diagram. Yeah, it just goes on. It's dumb.
And it's especially annoying because Lunch Lady Doris, like, the voice actor who played her back in the classic era, she passed away, and they just quietly removed the character. But then, for no reason, they brought her back in the 20th season, and I have not seen one good Lunch Lady Doris in the HD era bit that justifies replacing her with, even though I love Tress MacNeille. She's probably my favorite female voice actor of all time.
But yeah, the old Doris, first of all, so distinct. It second of all, had such great one-liners. Just why don't you grease me up, woman? Okie dokie.
That's right.
There's very little meat in these gym mats.
And yeah, Tress MacNeille doesn't even sound close to the old Lunch Lady Doris. It sounds more like an off-brand Agnes Skinner.
I didn't even know that was like her. Well, meant to be her. I thought it was just someone new. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's how bad their current portrayal of the character is.
Just get a new character.
And they had the dodgeball teacher come in again. This is another one of those characters where they're like, "Oh, he throws balls at people. He's hilarious." And he's not.
He didn't even yell dodgeball, not once.
No, just threw a ball at Skinner's face, which is kind of funny.
I don't think any of us laughed.
No,
we
I
didn't.
think it was very quiet.
Yeah, that whole scene was just...
Yeah, but it's setting up the A story where the kids are going to have to take a test. But we'll get back to that and talk about the B story, which starts up with Homer's gone to the dump to dump. All
the stuff,
Tip.
all the electronic stuff he can't use
of
anymore.
course, which is good. That tied into the story, and then he finds the parking meter here, and in the background there's a little Mr. Sparkle box as well.
Which is nice. And you also have what's clearly a body bag with Legitimate Businessman's Club written on it. And again, these are the jokes that are in the background that they don't call attention to, and you just get to sit and watch it and go, "Ha, I get jokes."
Yeah. All right, so we're just going to talk about all the Homer parking meter stuff now, and then we'll get back to all the Bart taking the test thing. So yeah, starts out, he gets the parking meter at the dump, and then his first scam with it in Act 2 is to get Flanders, who I actually kind of like that Flanders parked the wrong way in, but
I like that as well, yeah.
Thought it was a parking space because there's a parking meter there, and he's like, well, why would the Lord put a parking meter somewhere he didn't want me to park?
Justify everything with God.
Yeah,
Yep.
typical Chris. Not you, Christian.
Not
but
me. Well, I look like Jesus, but...
He does. And he talks like a gentleman,
I know,
like you imagined.
Everything you want from a Killer's song.
I touch your boobs like a gentleman.
I think that was a lyric. I touch your boobs like a gentleman.
It should be.
Is it really? Yeah, right.
And anyone listening at
that's my
home with
theme
boobs,
song.
if you now feel kind of good, you know why.
So what do you guys think about the Homer getting the change and complaining about his back sort of thing?
I can relate
yeah.
to that thing like so much. Like
Yeah.
just a shitty idea to get money, which gets you nowhere, and then you're just hurting yourself essentially. You know.
Again, this is the point that they just drove home so hard, I didn't laugh. And he was dragging the thing. He's like, oh, the pain, but oh, the little bits of change, but oh, my back. I was like, yeah, I got it. Shut up.
Yeah. Like, very relatable, but they could have cut it in half.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like the setup and the concept of just how much tiny amounts of money is he going to make from this scam when he could be at work, or it's the typical Homer thing. It's always fun, but
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Just
it
that
comes with a montage with a real on-the-nose song choice of Changes by David Bowie.
yeah,
Actually, and they used Space Oddity in that Elon Musk special. They managed to get a couple of songs out of Bowie. It's like notoriously hard to get his music to sign off on things.
maybe he was big on Simpsons.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
sure,
wouldn't surprise me. He's got taste.
I don't know if he guessed it in an episode, though. I'm going to look
I
that
swear
up.
he did.
Yeah.
I have a hunch. Yeah,
I can't remember it, though.
somewhere.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe not as Bowie, but it
Yeah.
seems familiar.
I mean, maybe I just want to believe it.
Maybe
but,
a Ziggy Stardust.
or Aladdin Sane.
he was a lot of people.
Yeah, he is.
And
Labyrinth?
except now he's just no people now.
Maybe he was just like, welcome to Labyrinth, Lisa. I would watch that crossover, actually. That sounds like fun.
Do you do voodoo? And Bart's like, yes.
Oh, God, don't reference that fucking episode.
So the changes montage was pretty on the nose, and there weren't any like super great bits out of that. The
No.
bit with the clowns going to the methadone clinic and Fat Tony.
It was just a montage for montage's sake.
Yeah.
Not really a lot of jokes out of it. But,
Yeah.
I think the closest I got was this. He puts the meter on the pier, and then the sea captain rocks up and puts in like a doubloon.
Yeah.
It's cute, but yeah.
And the next scene, just at the end of Act 2 as well, Homer uses all of his spare change to go watch TV at a bus station.
Yeah, that
kinda
made
like
no
that.
sense to me, to be honest.
No, I kind of like it. He's got so much change. He's like, what do you do with change? Oh, you can watch TV at a bus station. I love watching TV. And so
Yeah.
in his head, he's thinking, I'm going to watch TV for free, despite the fact that he could do that at home, but he doesn't make that connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have liked, actually, you hit on a good thing. I would have liked to see him do more things with change,
Yeah,
like
true.
go on a spending spree at the vending machine or.
I was actually really expecting him to have the line of now to watch TV for free without, and just let the fact that, I just said just hanging.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things because it might be a common thing in America to have paid TVs at bus station seats, but I had never seen
Yeah,
anyone.
we can't relate to that
I've
now.
seen it in enough 80s and 90s sitcoms to know at least was a thing. I don't know
Yeah.
if it still is, but
Well, yeah, I mean, God, last time I took a bus, but yeah, I mean, I know there's internet, but like, because FPOS is everywhere these days, like,
you know that sentence made it sound like you don't take the bus anymore, you now take the internet.
that's pretty much it.
There's internet on everywhere nowadays. They even have it on computers.
Classic. So yeah, it was funny that he used the like that as the place for him to watch the TV, and it
down.
set up the whole news thing about him. But I didn't like Wiggum's thing with the silhouette and the question mark inside.
I actually kind of like that.
I like that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
like-
a bit random. It was a bit out there.
Our suspect may look like this and have a question mark in his silhouette, or it may be an exclamation point, or an interrobang. I love interrobang, so bring them back.
yeah. I don't know. To me, that's what it felt like. Like someone had learnt the word interrobang and was like, "Where can I fit this into a script?"
Well, if you ever need an alternate name for terrorential, you could be in terrabang. But I do, and then moves on to like it could be Hispanic, and then does an upside down question mark.
Oh yeah, okay. I did chuckle
Actually,
at that bit now that you mention it.
kind of bugs me is he then goes, or worst of all, he may have no punctuation at all, and then he's got a card, but there's one more card behind it. I want to know what that card was. We never find out.
Well, you noticed all these things, which I don't. That's crazy.
We're now like close to professional Simpsons watchers, except we don't get paid.
Yeah.
I can see this. Yeah, right.
Sponsor us now.
Yeah,
We'll do anything. Squarespace? We'll use Squarespace for your website or landing page. See? I can do great adverts.
Well, we also like Squarespace. We both use Squarespace. So
Yes.
I'll get naked.
If anyone
We
wants
can
to
even offer a naked man that looks like Jesus.
Oh, there you go.
How often do you get to see that? So yeah, rounding out the B story as well. After a shootout with police, Wiggum, the
I don't even
Homer
remember.
clutches the parking meter like a dying lover and goes, "Stay with me," and it flicks up. Ting, expired as well.
That was a good bit. I do want to quickly go back to at some point when he finds out he has to stop stealing coins from everyone, he goes, "No, this was my first successful business." It is not. He had Mr. Plow, that was successful, and he had Spring Shield, that was successful.
He had lots of successful businesses. Not lasting success, but
Oh no, I'm just saying, know your own history, man. God.
yeah, and it sort of gets a bit clunky in Act 3 as well when, like, Marge finds out and he has the big pillow sacks full of coins and she goes, let's go put this money to good use. And then they just throw it down a well.
Well, I thought that was going to be the link between the two stories of they're pouring it into a wishing well, and maybe he just poured so much in that all of a sudden the wish comes true, that kind of deal.
That
But
was the bug.
Oh, he pours it into the wishing well. It goes through the pipes into
Yeah.
Springfield Elementary, gives them enough money to stop the school
well, no,
from
because
being
he
shut
only
down.
had like $200 in there, but still, no, I figured, okay, that's going to be a link between these things. He's going to make the wish, because the last thing Marge says is, and I wish that Bart will do well in his test tomorrow. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so that's going to be the link. And then it just didn't happen. So I guess it's good because it didn't try to bring magic in at the last second, but
No.
it was also like, it feels like you were setting something up there.
Yeah, didn't quite pay off.
It's like, I'm going to use a sporting term now. I'm not great with those, but it feels like you have an alley-oop, which then just bounces off down the court.
Yeah, it's like, Dennis Rodman threw for an alley-oop, but Michael Jordan got distracted and signed an autograph for someone off court.
No, he just wasn't even there.
Yeah, he just picks up the phone. Oh, that was today?
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I was in talks for Space Jam 2. It's just...
I hope that happens. Yeah. Love Space Jam. Sorry, you got me all distracted thinking about Warner Brothers and basketball
No, I was
right
about
now.
to say, I said Space Jam. Of course I distracted. That's how you distract Elliot. If anyone ever meets Elliot and you want to steal something from him, just yell, Space Jam!
Go and tell Space Jam. All right. All right, back to the A story. So, they announced to the kids that they've got to do a test, and there's a little test montage. I like when Willie's sweeping up the kids who've fallen due to test pressure.
Yeah, I did check out if that was a reference. The only note I found was that the music is similar to the music from Halloween. It's like,
It is the music.
yeah, and it's like, that's not a link. Why are you playing that
That's
music?
what I enjoyed.
Yeah,
Because
and
that's how I felt when I went to a test.
Why is it there?
Because tests are evil.
I know, and I like how
They
one
feel
of
like
them.
death.
I like how one of them scrolled out "Help me" in
Yeah.
the answer boxes.
No, that was
I,
great.
just before that, we did have another joke I liked where Skinner and Chalmers are hanging out in the office. It's like, the comptroller's here, quick, magazine poses. And they both kind of pose
Yeah.
That was great.
as though they're on a magazine cover. It's pointless but cute.
But the actual woman herself was, by the way, guest starring Valerie Harper, who I'm just going through her Wikipedia now. I don't really recognize any of it. Oh, she was a big player on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and Rhonda, which was the spin-off from that.
Okay.
Sorry, Valerie Harper. I'm sure you're great, but you weren't given great material in here. I hated the whole accept thing. And
Yeah, little attempts at wordplay that didn't carry.
yeah, and you did better than the worst school, by which to say you were actually the worst school now, and that was just confusing and didn't make sense.
Yeah, it was like an attempt at a misdirect that misdirected no one. Except for Skinner, but,
Yeah.
he's in too deep.
And yeah, at the top of Act 2, so the school didn't do well enough. They're sending all the kids everywhere, and the Sherry and Terry bit.
Yeah, where they find out they go into different schools and they walk away from each other and slowly age rapidly. I can see what they're going for, it just doesn't land.
Yeah, see, yeah, Christ, not seeing many HD era episodes, you wouldn't have known, but they've gone really weird with Sherry and Terry these
Yeah.
days, where they're like twins equal freak people.
Freak people magic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And in one episode, they turned into 3 people, and yeah, in this one, they fucking decay when they get more than 2 meters away from each other. It's just fucking
Yeah.
weird.
That'd piss me off if I was a twin.
Yeah.
It would, yeah. It's just, yeah, because every time it's close to getting it, but there's just something really weird. I think, they're kind of relying on the inherent, that we all think twins are inherently weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like clowns or dolls or something.
Yeah, I raised my eyebrows at that bit.
Yeah. But, and I mean, it's so stupid because it's like, oh my God, 2 people that look like each other. What? And yeah, although the only freaky twin moment I had in my life, do you remember at AIM, the twins, Curtis and Jeff?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they, our first day of masterclass, and we're all sort of seated in rows and whatever. And one was sitting next to me, and I was having a chat to him. And in that time, the other one sat on the other side. And like I'd sort of seen someone sit down in the periphery, and first day, and I'm like, oh, I better meet new people. Hello, what the fuck is happening?
How are you in 2 places at once?
Yeah, that would have confused me.
I had more twin stories, but we'll move on if you like.
yeah, you got one.
So there's a girl who works at the cafe just up from the street from my work. So I go there every day because the staff are attractive, and I need coffee. And we have a little chat every time I'm in there, back and forth, yada yada. And then I see her walking, by the shop before we open one day, and I'm like, oh hey, how you doing? She kind of just keeps walking, and I'm like, well, I don't like talking to customers outside of work either. Maybe it's all just she's friendly when she's in the shop, and that's fine. That's cool, whatever. And then back in the shop, the next day or something, and she's friendly and chatting. I'm like, this is odd, but fine, cool, whatever. And then I'm standing there one day, and she's behind the counter, but then she also walks through the front door, and I'm like, This explains why your tan keeps changing.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, that's what twins are like. They're opposites. One likes to tan, one likes to stay inside.
And they're both tan. It was just like slightly different levels of it. And I'm like, well, maybe that's just your thing. You're like using a lot of whatever. I don't care. Just give me coffee.
But what if one was like a major bitch and the other one was really nice?
From what I can tell,
like
one of them
stood
is-
up a bunch of dudes.
One of
and-
them is really nice. I kind of think her sister is a bitch. So
Wow.
Like they say in BoJack Horseman, you're either a Zoe or a Zelda.
That would get so confusing.
So yeah, as they're sending the kids off, and Nelson's meant to go to Arkham apparently, and then the Joker's there.
and the bus just explodes.
Yep. So yeah, someone saw The Dark Knight and was really keen to make a reference to it.
Just
Yeah, that didn't really make sense to me.
But I like how Bart, it's discovered that Bart wasn't there for the test, and he can be the thing that pushes the grade over. And I like that the thing he was doing all day was constantly walling off a bug and making it change directions.
that was good.
And yeah, even his moment of, wow, psychological torture instead of just pulling your legs off. It's making you crazy. Oh my God, I'm growing up. Like,
I'm maturing so well.
And it's just one of those things that we've all done that at some point. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you think you know what you're doing, bug? Well, what if I put this wall here? What now, insect?
We used to have bug wars.
yeah.
Yeah, scorpions and thunder webs together fighting to the death.
Wow.
That's what we did in the
See,
bush.
that's bad because at some point they're going to figure out if they work together, they'll do
Yeah.
it better.
Yeah, right.
So then you've got scorpions carrying around funnel webs.
Yeah, riding a brown snake into battle.
Yeah, and then when they make
Then you're
friends,
truly fucked.
then they make friends with the magpies, and suddenly you've got airborne division scorpions.
Oh my god, carrying great whites
Yeah.
in the sky. Sharks in the sky, motherfuckers.
Sky sharks is like my number 3 fear. So
Yeah, right.
I think you guys are actually getting to a good pitch for the inevitable, like, 7th Sharknado movie that takes place in Australia.
I can only watch like 1 minute or 1 to 5 minutes of those movies. I laugh and then
No.
I just feel ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
they are an absolute masterclass on how not to make a movie. There's so much you can learn from everything they do wrong. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, so what happens with Bart after that? All eyes on Bart as he comes into the school, including the new kid that you've never seen before, but I'm just going to make myself known. Hey, look at me.
It was close to being a decent bit. I didn't dislike it. It's
No, I really didn't like it at all.
The thing I didn't like about it most is that it's another thing they keep doing in the HD era where they give, like, children characters adult voices. Like, there's no pretending that was a voice that would come out of a 10-year-old. Like, that was definitely a 30-year-old man. Like,
it's about basically then
appeals to Skinner.
says there's no way, you need to give me more time, and Skinner pulls the firearm, or his imaginary devil mother on his
Yeah.
shoulder pulls the alarm.
I liked that, though. It was a good spin on the old angel on one shoulder, devil on the other, where, his angel is him and then his devil's his mother, and the devil mum goes, oh, you're a ramp, and pulls it, and then he's, like, standing around, oh, I just did that, apparently.
Or did he? Bart goes home, gets some more study time, which he spends up setting up a little Rube Goldberg machine.
Yep. Dominoes made out of his study materials, and
Yep.
I enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed when Lisa was trying to explain the importance of the whole thing,
Yeah.
and he was, like, falling asleep
You
on her.
flick to his perspective, and for a while you're like, why are we going? And then you see him slowly start going to sleep.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it was good because, it led the path for him to have a guilt dream.
Yeah.
Where-
And I actually quite like the guilt dream. It's like
Yep.
intentionally
good, yeah.
overly, like helicopters are flying upside down, and
Yep, the
Everything's-
4 bullies can't figure out how to divide up 8 slices of pizza.
Yeah, that is quite concerning.
Yeah. So yeah, then he wakes up and realizes, oh, this is the error of my ways. And then he started explaining to Lisa what's wrong with him, and she starts falling asleep. I didn't like that return to the joke.
Yeah, it was just didn't make sense. Why is Lisa falling asleep hearing Bart explain why he's an idiot and he really needs her help? She
Yeah.
wouldn't be asleep at that.
Yeah. And then in the Quickie Mart, Marge tries to appeal to the district board leader, whatever, Valerie Harper. And
Comptroller.
yeah, I like that Marge makes a point about her being out of touch with kids, and you've been in the public education system for 30 years, haven't you? And she just loads up her trolley with vodka.
I thought that made a lot of sense, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
Yeah, and then she gets rid of the mouthwash
Yeah.
to get another bottle of vodka to get through her day.
Yeah.
Yeah, very relatable.
Yeah. So yeah, at the start of Act 3, Bart's in the test, and I like how you think it's a ticking clock by the sound effect, but it was Lisa tapping on the window
Little
concentrate.
sign says
Yeah, that was
concentrate.
good.
Yeah.
And also her pep speech to Bart beforehand, it was, I mean, it's something we all know, if you don't know a question, answer B and then move on. Like, that's just solid test-taking advice
If
because,
you do that, chances are you're going to get quarter of it right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
25%. Yep.
and I liked how on one of his multiple choice questions was blood types.
A, B, B, A, C, A, B, D, O.
And then he misses out on the last question, but Deus Ex Bug lands on C, and she accepts that as a good answer. And yeah, I think that's all I got to say about the episode.
I'm out of notes, so yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't make notes. Oh, I did. I made one note.
What's your one note say?
I still find it amazing that they still show everyone smoking.
Oh,
out
yeah,
of
true.
any show I see nowadays, especially cartoons, Simpsons is the only one I see people smoking. The whole health thing and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, it's funny, you go back and watch the classic episodes and there's teachers freely smoking in the teachers' lounge and,
Yeah.
Patty and Selma always have a cigarette. But these days, they still show people with cigarettes, but always something bad happens to them or it's explained as a negative thing.
Right.
I think, there must have been a lot of laws changed around, how you portray smoking in
Yeah.
media.
The social acceptance of it as well.
Yeah.
Although I maintain with Patty and Selma, they're presented as such ugly people that smoking is
Yeah.
a part of that.
Yeah,
so
and
it's
their
not
voice.
appealing.
Yeah. And,
We call them durries.
yeah, Dusbies, mate.
Oh, fucking chuck us a dart, will you, mate? A dart because you don't want to give away cigarettes, so you
No.
chuck it at their face like a dart. It's a dart. Makes sense, right?
All right, guys. It is time for the questionnaire.
Nice.
Play count. How many times do you think you've seen this episode?
I feel like I've seen it before, but I don't think I have. So 0. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0 for me, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think I actually only want to say I've seen this once before. It didn't seem super familiar to me. But I do remember the whole thing with the bug. That just stuck in my brain.
I think I must have seen that part as well. So yeah, maybe watch this back in the
Yeah.
Kimura days or something. I can't remember.
Well, in that case, it might just be really boring then if you may have seen it and just
Yeah.
don't
I
remember
don't know.
anything.
I wasn't so bored by this one. I felt like I wouldn't remember it, but
No, it wasn't bored hate. It was bored good. I can see how it'd be a forgettable episode.
Yeah.
So, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons, though? Were all the characters on point? Are these the characters you know and love from back
I'm
in the
going
day?
to say, yeah, no one's really acting non-themselves. I mean, Bart, despite, getting an extra day, does nothing with it, as we've seen before when he
Yep.
got the snow day. Yeah, everyone's on. Lisa's worried about the school. Skinner's being Skinner. Everyone's being everyone.
Yeah.
Homer has a wacky get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah. That doesn't work quickly and breaks his back at the
It
same
doesn't
time.
make him rich or quickly either. But hey,
Which, as silly as a storyline as that was, I think you're right, Christ. That was, just so totally relatable. All the back-breaking labor for, nickels.
change, literal
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Wackiness. There weren't many particularly wacky parts.
No, the wackiest you get, I suppose, is when the demolition crew's there. It's just the second they Bart fails the test, they're going to just demolish the school and start the backswing, and then just
Yeah.
waits for 2 minutes and then cracks through his wall.
Yeah, and that's sort of good wackiness because they're making fun of the tension they're creating.
Yeah, so
I did like the part that Krusty was trying to get laid, but he couldn't because the monkey had a girl back in his room.
That's right.
I did like that bit when the lights went out. That was
Yeah, when the electricity goes at the station and he walks into Kent Brockman
Yeah.
doing a live news feed.
I know it's a kid show, but I have to see you topless.
How was the heart in this episode? I don't think there was much heart.
I suppose you got a little bit with Bart realizing that he needed to do this and Lisa calling him out on his selfishness.
Yeah. And Lisa helping him as well for the sake of everyone else. But, I mean, it's not...
It's not heart, but it's characters learning something, I suppose.
If it taught me anything, torment more bugs.
Yeah.
You get further
but
in life.
Psychologically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know where I'm going with this. Sorry. Anyway.
Well,
someone else talk.
no. I mean, the episode proved that if you do psychological torture on a bug, it will come and save you at the 0 hour.
Yeah.
And
And
then
if you don't pull off their legs, you're more mature instantly.
I feel like the next time we see Christ, he's going to be called the Insector and be commanding a tiny army.
Yeah.
So yes or no, would you watch it again? I might.
Yeah, I would. I got some genuine chuckles in this.
Yeah.
I was very critical. As I said, I'm used to the old episodes.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, I already had like my guard up a little bit, so I
Yeah.
think I was over analyzing it a little bit too much. So, you know, if I had a chance to watch it again, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, if it was on, sort of thing.
Yeah, if it was on and
Like, we have a thing we call the hangover test, which is like, if you were on the couch,
Right.
it was on, you've got your favorite food, you've got a hangover, you don't want to change the channel, would
Yeah.
you leave it on? Like, and I think I would. If
Yeah,
I was
I-
hungover, I'd be like, yeah, I'll stick it out for some of the funny
For
bug
the
stuff.
hangover test, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a great test, though, by the
Yeah.
way. That is
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. That actually says a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, so in that case, no, I probably wouldn't want to. I'd probably want to flick it to something I've
Alright.
seen, like in the older variety.
Sure.
All right, well.
Get back to the comfort food. It's like we call it. All right, but yeah, we might watch it again. What sort of... we're going to put it in a playlist. What episode sort of style is it? It's Homer's Wacky Jobs.
Yep, Bart tests.
Yeah, Bart taking the test. That you could put it with the one where he gets an F, has to
Yeah.
study 1774 or whatever it was.
School in trouble.
Yeah, the school's in trouble. Like the one where the mafia builds ramps out of
Yep.
biscuits or
That's
something.
exactly what I was thinking. Or, you know, where the Mr. Burns steals their oil.
Yep. Mr. Burns,
Who shot Mr. Burns Part 1?
screwing up the economy. Yeah. All right, well, let's rank this thing.
Whoop.
So, on the Simpsons Index, we use our patented 6-point scale of ranking episodes, which starts at the bottom and with the bad episodes at failure. And then maybe if it's just like a meh episode, we call out a participant. And then for good rankings, you go gold, silver, and then if it's excellent, you give it a gold. But if it's like the best of the best, the most super essential Simpsons episodes, that which the Simpsons could not exist without, you can rank that cubic zirconia. And I'm going to kick it off. Let me show you how it's done. I am going to give this one a bronze. It could have been a... In my head, it's actually more of a participant, but I think there was enough good material in this, and I'm like, yeah, not bad. Well done. 24 years. That's okay. BT, what are you going to rank it?
Because I've been sitting on a participant bronze the whole time. Watching it, I was like, yeah, I reckon this could get bronze. And then just thinking it over now, I can't remember anything about it.
Yep.
But again, I'm going with the guts. I'm going to go with bronze because I did enjoy it while watching it. I know, and some of the ones in participant, I could get halfway through them before realizing, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Although that said, I did almost completely forget if I'd seen this one before. So I'd say it's just over that line into bronze, like barely by a hair. It made it by a bug sitting on the edge.
Right.
Just got enough tilt, but yeah.
All right, cool. And Krusty Boy, what do you reckon?
It's participant for me. For
Fair
sure.
enough.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no problems with that at all.
Like, it was all good,
I can
but-
absolutely get that.
Completely forgettable in my eyes.
Yep.
I'm not going to remember this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm not even drunk, so
You need some more beer.
yeah. Well,
All right, so moving on, we're going to go back to the teens. Era I like to call the awkward teens because it starts out pretty good and then it gets very awkward. And so we're taking an episode from season 18, hopefully, because I think it's been 3 podcasts now that I said we're going to do this episode, and technical faults have consistently stopped me from doing that. But I think I found a way to make it work. So hopefully this time when we get back, we will have watched Marge Gamer.
I remember this is your unicorn. It's the elusive one that you just can't catch.
Yep. All right, so hopefully we'll be able to watch that, and we'll be back. We are back, and we just watched Marge Gamer, which was episode 17 from season 18, April 2007. Yes, audience, finally watched it. It worked.
Finally. Caught that unicorn.
And in this episode, Marge gets addicted to a World of Warcraft-like game.
you said dick again.
I sure did.
How can I prove we're live? Penis.
Okay, sorry.
One of my favorite lines.
No, totally. And in the B story, Lisa is all of a sudden interested in soccer, and then all of a sudden Homer's the ref, and all of a sudden he's a bad ref, all of a sudden he's a good ref, all of a sudden she's a flopper, all of a sudden Ronaldo's there.
Wait a second. When did this episode come out?
April 07.
Just Googling on the Simpsons.
Came out back in Art 7.
She says she's interested in soccer after seeing Bend It Like Beckham, which came out in 2002.
Yeah.
And it's still showing in cinemas in the flashback. So, What the hell, Simpsons?
Yeah, well,
Things just on for 5 years in your universe? Is that how it works?
well, maybe because it was an English movie, maybe it's like how we're only just getting Lego Batman next week.
Look, even if you put it on a steam line, it would get there faster.
Yeah. And yeah, that's, I guess, the pace that they're writing these episodes at a steamliner. Yeah, so yeah, that's about the story. Guys, what'd you think?
I actually quite liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I liked it at the beginning, and
Yeah.
we got about the halfway point, and it really started to lose me because nothing has a point or goes anywhere. It just kind of exists.
It just had me at that dating site, single and racist,
Yeah.
with a Ku Klux Klan member that just made me laugh.
Racists need love too, apparently.
That's true.
That
And-
makes sense.
But I mean,
Just
it's
from the
fun-
right people.
I mean, it's funny because
White people?
Whatever type of racist you tend to be.
well, to bring it around to a point where we won't get in trouble is that these dating sites exist. You see it all
Yeah.
the time online. Muslim matchmaker, Christian
Yep.
matchmaker. There's so many.
Which I was on because of my name. I thought it was funny.
That is funny.
I found it funny for
You
5 minutes.
assumed it would be full of people called Christian.
No, I thought the whole my name being Christian, looking
okay.
like, Jesus or whatever
Yeah.
would be quite
I'd
funny.
much prefer the universe where you log on and it's just endless people called Christian.
It's The Simpsons.
Yes.
So it's going to amuse me for a few more minutes at least.
Yeah. No, this episode, this is one, jumping ahead to the questionnaire, this is one that I avoid. And it's one that fortunately lets you know which episode it is very early on. It jumps into to its credit, jumps into the plot pretty quickly.
Yep.
But knowing it is the Marge World of Warcraft one, I've avoided it. But going back, looking at a critical lens, yeah, I gotta say, it wasn't until the Lisa story gets introduced that I was kind of okay with this episode. And yeah, there were lots of funny little jokes. But yeah, let's go through the plot in full.
Sorry, audience, earlier when Elliot was talking, I was just nodding. I should have been saying the words nodding.
Yep.
However, I was burping too much inside my own throat. So I decided to spare everyone that and
Yeah.
just sit here quietly.
Because yeah, in the podcast, you got to tell people when you're nodding or when
Yep.
you're winking or when you're raising your eyebrows. It's how the audience know what your facial expressions are
Yeah.
from.
His burp is internal. That sounds religious.
So, every now and then you're just going to be like seductive lip lick. Just so people know what's going on.
Yep.
Okay.
Hand job motion.
Butt
Anyway,
scratch.
So it starts off at the school, as many good episodes do, with
Yeah.
a PTA meeting.
Yeah, and I didn't like the jokes with Skinner and Chalmers here, the Willy wearing a skeleton costume because of budget cutbacks. It felt
I like the setup, but then the landing was bad. So we've had such bad year, we have to sell off the science lab skeleton and replace it with this Halloween costume. But then I like that joke, but then you didn't need Willy standing there in the costume. It
I
could
did
just be-
like the fact that he wasn't wearing underwear.
Oh
though.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
Which
Scotsman.
is-
He's a Scotsman.
Which
He
is
doesn't wear-
tradition.
yeah, he was wearing the Scottish kilt of skeleton costume.
The underkilt.
Yeah, the
Skelt.
Yeah. That's like how in Zelda where you get moblins, but then you get Stull moblins, which are the skeleton ones. Sorry, I've been playing Breath of the Wild for the last 2 weeks. Sorry,
I'm still bringing up the term breath head. So,
breath head. You my breath head.
yeah. People who play Breath of the Wild are now called breath heads.
Yeah, we're a subdivision of Nintendo Switch Bros.
That is not a term I want to be a part of.
Anyway,
It sounds like we double team consoles or something.
well, you
I just had
can.
the worst image.
Yeah. This is where I am right now. So,
Oh,
so
dear.
welcome to that.
Am I meant to high five you guys? Give you oranges at halftime or something? God.
Well, I was all turned around on 3 ways then. You get oranges at halftime?
Yeah,
There's a halftime? Yeah. Sounds relaxing.
but I mean, you can kind of double team the one console with Nintendo's patented
I
detachable console.
Really want to move
controllers.
on. Before we bring up
that was
Joy-Cons,
horrible.
let's keep moving.
Oh yes,
Sit on my joystick.
but yeah, the whole school thing was a
Oh, God, I
lofty.
thought about Rumble Packs. Damn it.
Anyway,
And we're
yeah. So the whole school thing was a lofty excuse because the principal Skinner had a pizza night planned at Papa John's and took a $1,500 deposit from everyone. It was played for yucks, but it wasn't that funny.
I think it was a school trip that got downgraded to Pizza Night at Papa John's.
That's right.
And they needed everyone's email, and Marge lets out the shocking revelation that she doesn't have an email account.
it felt very hacky, sort of means to an end to get Marge onto a computer and then do that really on the nose. Again, another on the nose montage of Beach Boys' Let's Go Surfing Now because you surf the internet.
That might be tonight's hidden theme, on the nose musical references. Look, the opening was pretty weak, but it got there quickly, so I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
Like,
But just sorry, on themes with the other episode, what was the other on the nose montage? Changes, that's right.
Changes.
Yeah, Changes was the other on the nose montage. But just quickly jumping back to that episode as well, they had a dedication to Huell Hauser at the end of the HD episode because he did pass away around that time. And normally wouldn't have brought it up, but he was in an episode that we covered recently. Or a parody of him was in an episode we covered recently. So
why don't you go back to that episode and listen to Elliot's impersonation of him saying, "That's amazing."
here's a small preview now. It's amazing. Anyway, rest in peace, Huell. You're a delight. So in the span of the montage, Marge gets bored with the internet and then starts looking around for other things, and then it's disappointed no one has replied to her St. Patrick's Day e-card, and
she's a very mom internet.
which that's sort of made me smile because sometimes when you get on the internet and you see your parents have done something on Facebook and you're like,
How many
not doing it right.
How many pictures of cats have you sent me, Mum? 14. Oh, and so many little GIFs around the edge that it's going to take 10 minutes to load.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mum.
I get sent gifts as me as an elf on Christmas.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No.
It's usually disapproving faces of me while my mum's like taking photos of me when I'm like, fuck off. I'm meant to be hardcore and, have a beard and look angry. And now I'm a fucking elf.
But she clicking through the banner ads as well stumbles upon Single and Racist and Stalk Your Friends Now. And
But Single and Racist was the funniest.
Yeah.
Yep. Also goes to Google Earth and zooms in on a house to see a naked Homer in the background.
Oh,
I love
that.
this sequence.
He meets the parents of Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
You haven't met me naked.
Yeah.
That was
And
great.
when she was going, at least put on a towel. Oh, well, why don't I wear a dress? Like, just nice Homer silliness.
Yeah.
She stumbles upon Earthland Realms, which
Yep,
I wrote it down now. I don't think I'm going to remember it, so I'm just going to call it World of Warcraft for the rest of this.
Yeah.
The important thing is it's a Mamorpaga.
Yeah, it's a definite Mamorpaga. During this whole sequence when she's discovering World of Earthland, and she's
Earthland Realms.
yeah.
Such a mom.
So during this whole character creation process, I hate how Marge is just talking to herself and telegraphing the whole thing. Like, I think they just could have cut it down a little. Like, now my hair, now my shoes. Like, I don't mind that it's all just getting to a place where the character looks like her, but she's just talking the whole process through. It was so boring.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I guess you kind of know what they're doing the second she goes hair, blue, and it immediately becomes her hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what's
Like,
going to happen.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
funny
yeah.
that, she didn't put, like, hair type tall. It was hair blue. Well, of course, it's going to be 3 foot tall.
Yep. Or they never go through the hardest part of any kind of character creation, which is, what do you want your name to be? And you're like,
Yes.
do I want my
At least
name
10
to
minutes.
be?
Yep.
Do I go with comedy and call myself Poop Butt? Or do I go real and call myself myself? Or do I try and be cool because no one else is going to know?
Or you accidentally press enter and you don't know what you've done and it's saved and
You're
the
screwed now.
process
Yep.
is like half an hour. So you're like, no, I'm going to do it.
A asterisk colon explosion.
I'm pretty sure I did that with, what was it? Skyrim, I think it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Wandering around the whole time just pulling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Belay.
But
I got
no-
an exclamation mark in my name.
Yeah, I did a similar screw up when naming my horses in Breath of the Wild, where one of them's called like Fart 1 and like
Instead of exclamation point.
yeah, it was meant to be exclamation point. I accidentally hit 1, and then when I tried to backspace, I hit enter, and then I'm
Sucker.
trying to skip through the text so I can say no, I don't want that to be my name. But of
Ah,
course,
you
I
bum-
hastily confirmed, and
You fool.
Yeah.
You absolute fool. What else you got, just out of curiosity?
on my horses,
Yeah.
there's penis poop.
There are 2 types of video game players.
And I found the white horse,
Yep.
and I called him Cumbutt. and I whistle in an area that he's not, and then they go, "It seems like Cumbut couldn't hear your call," and I'm like, "Yes." Thank you, Nintendo, for not censoring my craft.
The simple joys.
Delightful.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I don't like about the whole Marge Gamer storyline is that, okay, what this South Park episode with World of Warcraft did right is they animated in World of Warcraft. Like, they went to Blizzard, got the animation style so that, like, the voice acting was on point with video game voice acting, which, especially at that time, wasn't nearly as sophisticated as it is now, and was often just stock standard mouth opening and shutting movements.
Yep.
And in this one, it's basically just The Simpsons dialed up to 11, where like it's almost like a Treehouse of Horror where they're in a medieval mode, and it doesn't ever feel like they're in a video game. And also because there's things like Apu and Mo, they're just working at their stalls and
Their
they're like,
standard jobs, yeah.
yeah, and it's like, what? So your goal in this game was to be an NPC? Like,
Yeah, pretty much. It's a bit weird. It's one of those things where I don't know. Okay, it bugs me, but I'm just like, well, does that matter? But then it's kind of like you're trying to portray a different world here.
Yeah.
You may as well portray it instead of just making it look like Hyper Renaissance Fair.
and that's it. And back in like season 1, where they have like Homer and Bart get obsessed with that boxing game,
Yeah.
and they had like basically their amalgamations, but it was slightly digitized,
Yeah.
and their movements were a bit like,
They look like they were supposed the kind of jerky frame by frame kind of movements, and yeah, no, I agree. That's a good counterpoint to it.
yeah, and the whole thing that like all the characters in the game. First of all, not necessarily people in the Simpsons universe you'd expect to play video games, but also they're just being themselves, like in this world. Like it may as well be a Renaissance fair.
Pretty much.
And and again, when you see South Park doing it the other way, and they just fucking knocked it out of the park.
They really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good episode. That one.
Especially with Carmen shitting into a bucket. I lost it.
Bathroom.
Bathroom.
And
He's the big boy.
and like the animation of it all, how it comes out as a solid turd and then just sprays. Like it's fucking fantastic. Yeah, so where were we up to? Okay. And I like how Marge does get stuck in playing it for like more than a day and a half.
Yeah,
Or no, she thinks that, and then
because Bart's told her it's Saturday, and then she runs off, and he's like, "It's not Saturday." And Bart's like, "Quiet," and just picks up golf clubs and walks off. I like that. Doesn't
like
call
the
too
randomness.
attention to it. He's just like,
Yeah.
"I get to golf now. I golf, by the way."
yeah, like, and a bunch of the stuff with the Renaissance fucking fair with the World of Warcraft style game is like kind of funny, but then the whole bit with Mo and the troll and the bridge, it was so like,
yeah.
Yeah, it was very forced.
yeah, and
It went from being an alright enough joke where she's like, "Mo, you're playing as a troll." He's like, "What? No, this is meant to look like me." And then he's like, "Why does everyone say I'm a troll?" It's like, "Okay, fine." But then they push it to he walks and then stands under a bridge and is like, "Rah, rah," and you're like, you already got to the joke.
Yeah.
Why did you stay longer than you had to?
yeah, like I think it would have been funnier if he was like, I don't know, maybe saying, "No, I'm a goblin." Like, oh my god, there's such a distinct difference. Like, or like, no, I'm a level 20 mage.
Well, just pull
why
something different.
Because I didn't like mind him going to the bridge, but it was so sort of stupid. Like, yeah, it wasn't the way I'd write that joke.
Nah.
And around this time, she discovers this character known as the Shadow Knight.
It's one of those names that needs, two people to say it in unison.
Yeah.
So. Or
Yeah. Very Doom.
who is feared by all and, destroys Skinner's avatar in one hit. And,
Yeah. And I liked Mo's joke here of, oh my god, he beat me to death with my own life bar. Like, he's that good of a player that like, he
Yeah, that was
managed to
pretty good.
hack some systems. So yeah, it gets revealed that it's Bart when Marge goes to do some laundry in the house. And
overhears him relishing in his victory.
And then, yeah, that rounds off Act 1, and then Act 2 starts up with back in the video game world, and Bart's at the bar, and he's given a Dr. Nick head to Mo to squeeze the juice out of. And I like how Dr. Nick goes, "Hey, everybody, how do you play this game?"
I do like it. Doesn't make any sense in
Yeah.
the realm of a game, but it works for a joke of that one person who's brand new is like, "So how does this work? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Am I that guy? Why is my head gone?"
They're always dying.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking noobs. And
But then Marge begins to mom all on the Shadow Knight who's lost all his prestige and fear, and this is where the entire episode turns down for me because
yeah.
They do nothing from this point on.
No, it definitely starts getting worse from here, and especially with the plot structure, which I found so messy. Because, like, good old Simpsons episodes with, you know, the A and the B story, you know, they cut between them often, and they link them together somehow. Like, these were pretty separate, and the thing that I hated most is how self-contained the B story was pretty much in the last 2/3 of this episode. So anyway,
Yeah, and it's, you know, we're in Act 2 and we're only just getting to the B story.
yeah, and there was no proper build to it either. It just all of a sudden cuts to the Simpsons house from the video game world. Not a smooth transition. Lisa's already in a soccer outfit, and Homer walks in. What are you doing, sweetie? I'm about to go play soccer.
I play soccer
I
now.
thought I missed something.
No, literally nothing.
Thought I had a micro sleep.
And she was inspired by Bend It Like Beckham. And I hated the film parody here where the Lisa and all her friends were all like, yeah, girl soccer player, you stick it against your father.
Your oppressive father.
Your
And
oppressive father, yeah.
Father's like, oh, but you have to marry this boy you just met because he has strong business ties. And then Apu stands up and goes, yeah, you tell him, oppressive father.
Yeah, and it was so gross because Apu has already demonstrated a history of not being down with the arranged marriage and just sort of lucked out with Manjula. And even then, he's cheated on her. Like, they've already established that he is not playing by traditional rules.
Yep.
And, yeah.
He's a renegade. I mean, I like the idea of the joke, but given Simpsons history and the way it's presented there, it just really doesn't land.
No, it felt racist, mate.
Racist.
Fucking racist.
Is there an online dating service for that?
And Homer's joke about, oh, can I take you to a match? And then she's like, you're already going to. Oh, do I have to? And soccer, I always called it human foosball. Like,
I mean, he's been to a soccer match.
yeah. And then they just all of a sudden they're at the soccer game, and then Krusty's coaching the team for some reason, but then the ref doesn't show up. Good thing Homer's there.
I know. Whatever would we do without him? Let's put someone who's doesn't even know what the game is and doesn't know the rules in charge of refereeing.
Well, and this is sort of, this is probably the part of the Lisa soccer storyline that I liked, is the montage where he rips off his shirt and then he has his man bra on that he rips off.
That was great. That made me laugh.
The bro or the man's ear for
About to
Seinfeld
say.
fans.
Yep.
And even the joke about him swallowing his whistle and then, like,
Get some payoff when he's like, but he's like,
yeah. And even the reason why he had the uniform. Oh, got fired from Foot Locker this morning. Like,
I read that as a good joke because it's like one of those answers that just opens up more questions.
yeah, yeah.
I like it. It was good.
So anyway, they cut back to the A story, and this is another thing that I was saying. People are playing this game that you wouldn't expect to be playing this game. Burns is a mantis who thinks he's at Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, it's like, how do you make that mistake?
Like, and yeah, from all indications, Burns doesn't have a computer. Like,
He barely knows how a telephone works.
yeah. He's still answering it in the 1900s
Ahoy, hoy.
traditional, yeah. I suggest you need more practice using your telephone
Telephone machine.
Oh, yeah, and then there's the scene with Marge stumbles upon the Jimbo and the bullies, and
Yep.
they try to take it down, but the Shadow Knight comes to her rescue.
Leaps out and just decapitates them all, and then they kind of walk off palsy together, and
Yeah.
you're like, hey, there goes all the conflict you built up in the first act. Nice one, dicks.
And yeah, and the joke that they capped out that scene was with the bullies going, so you want to meet up at the Quickie Mart?
I'm in the bath.
I'm in Denmark.
I like the Denmark bit.
It was
Wasn't
Just 'cause-
expecting that.
It was
Yeah.
weirdly just the way he delivered it. I
Yeah.
think that really got me. Like,
in
'cause
Denmark.
I laughed at it, and then I'm like, wait, that's not even a joke.
No.
it was just really felt. I'm in Denmark.
But yeah, you didn't see it coming at least.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
All right, so then it cuts back to the B story, and this is what I hate, because it's saying what the plot is instead of actually doing it.
Yep.
Hey, Dad, you're already a better referee. And unnecessarily, Jessica Lovejoy and Krusty's daughter are in the soccer team. I guess they ran out of Simpsons
Kid
characters. And then all of a sudden, Lisa's faking. Hey, Homer ref, Lisa, your daughter's faking. And immediately she has a wry grin of, oh, I can get away with this. Then she fakes again.
Yep.
And then Ronaldo's there and calls her out for being a faker.
Yeah, and that's like, okay.
And they're just barreling along with this plot that could have been a whole episode by itself, but they're just saying like what the
Yeah, because, okay, Lisa kind of berates Homer for, she says something effective, I'm not surprised, I'm disappointed that you were such a bad ref, but I'm not even surprised, and walks off. And so he watches hours of soccer and actually almost saw a goal once.
which is funny.
Yep. And then becomes a better ref, and then she starts exploiting that. So you're like, okay, this is where we're going. She's going to start exploiting the things, and then then we change again. And it's like he calls her out on that. You're like, okay, maybe this is going to be he's become a good ref, and he's not going to let her, because that's going to be your point. And then no, it changes again, and it's like, we've just thrown away like 3 plot lines that maybe weren't great, but they would have worked for a nice bit of conflict. But
it all takes place in the space of like 3 minutes. It's just too quick to. There's no like real jokes or anything that come out of it. It's just saying what they're doing.
yeah,
And Ronaldo's voice acting was so bad.
that's how you know it's actually him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
The
that was
man
awful.
Plays the soccer. He know act the voice.
But like, it's even beyond that. It's just you'd be in the recording studio and you go, Ronaldo, do you know how to speak? Like, do you know how to say words?
Well, I'm
Like,
guessing English is his second language. So.
even then,
Yeah, and I was like, okay, and now Ronaldo away.
There was just no personality.
no.
Like,
And it is actually a common thing with the sports stars that they get on for these episodes. Like, actually, Homer at the Bat, that one where they got all the baseball players, it was actually kind of amazing that most of them were good.
Yeah, and the parts where they were maybe a bit weak didn't really matter. So.
Yeah. Like, and especially the one that was like continuously going into the house fire. Don't worry, ma'am, I'll save your baby.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for that
To
situation.
be flat was funnier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a disappointment. But I did like his line, "Yay, another family broken up by Ronaldo."
that was good.
I don't know. He's just traveling the world looking for problems in soccer to exploit.
Yep. So they cut back to the A story, and Marge and Bart are wandering around in the wizardy world, and then all of a sudden, oh no, Marge mommed up the game even more and bought the Hello Kitty expansion pack and threw away all of Bart's awesome gear,
Yeah.
which I would have been pissed about.
Justifiably, too.
Like, I haven't played Skyrim like you guys, but I mean, I know how it is grinding for
Okay,
inventory.
I have a treasure chest in Skyrim full of fantastic things I will never use, and I want it to stay there forever.
That is so true.
Yeah.
All the overpowered stuff that, like,
It's great, but it's a weapon I don't tend to use. I don't like two-handeds. I'm an archer. So,
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Long distance, paralyze them.
Yep. Sneaking around, shooting people in the backs. They can't
Yeah.
hurt me.
And they'll just fall awkward. It's really funny.
You laugh at them.
Especially
Yeah.
off cliffs.
Oh, yeah. And if that doesn't work, you shout them off a cliff.
Yes.
this sounds great. I really hope they do release Skyrim for the Switch.
Well, I mean, they advertised it in the Switch promos, so they're going to.
Yeah.
And now that you've played enough Breath of the Wild, you'll have an idea of what you're in for.
Yeah, like I'm not normally so big on like those like games that heavily rely on inventory management, but fuck, Breath of the Wild nailed it, and from everything I hear, Skyrim fucking nails it as well.
Just make sure when you first start playing, you go attack a giant.
Do not attack a giant. He's misleading you. There's a great
He
moment.
likes exploring space.
There's a great moment for me where I'm playing and I'm like walking up to a giant, and usually enemies appear as red on your little radar.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, get close to the giant, a little bit closer. He's not red. I'm like, maybe you can like they're NPCs you can talk to. Get a little closer, not red. I'm like, sweet. I'm gonna run up to him. And then I look up, I'm like, hi, giant. And he just kind of looks down at me, turns red, kicks me in the face, and I die immediately. I was like, you son of a bitch, but that was hilarious. Look at me, ragdoll.
Wow.
I got whacked up into an error point. Like literally smacked against the earth, shot right back up towards space to the point the game is like, yeah, no, we don't have anything for
we
you.
didn't animate that
No,
much
no.
air.
You just got
Sorry.
so fucked you are not even in
You were-
existence anymore.
You were the first Skyrim astronaut.
Yes.
You found your way to Skyrim 6.
Aliens.
Space.
Yeah, spies.
So yeah, and Bart goes crazy, breaks all the Hello Kitty stuff, and then kills Marge in the process.
Yep, and I have a note here. Kills Marge. So what?
Conflict.
No, not even conflict. She just respawns. I mean, she should just respawn, but for some reason she doesn't in this game. And but even then, it was clearly an accident. And
Yeah.
And it's a
whatever.
game.
Yeah, and it's a game. And obviously one she doesn't care about if she doesn't know how important inventory management is.
That's right. And yeah, especially when you're walking around with the Shadow Knight, you've got to have some armor on you.
She's been playing for like days on end at this point.
Yeah. And yeah, at the top of Act 3, so Marge and Bart are arguing, and Homer and Lisa are arguing, and then this is where they kind of try to tie the stories together by giving it the theme of, oh, them dames are mad at us.
Yeah, a little bit, and they go to Moe's, and it's
It felt really crap. It just sort of felt like they were going, haha, bitches be crazy.
Well, to be perfectly honest, another note I wrote down is Lisa. She's a bitch in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, she literally says to Homer, you finally do something right and you ruin my life. And it's like, wow, you got red carded in a soccer game. Oh, I mean...
For flopping, and you knew you were lying.
And you knew you were flopping. And later on, she's all like, oh, yeah, it's boring.
It was out of
and I
a
didn't like
character
it.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, this is where it didn't feel like a Simpsons episode, because Lisa was totally off point.
Yeah, and it's like, if they had a reason for her to want to cheat in this, that would have been a
Yeah,
little bit
to
different. If
save
there
a
was some
lamb.
pressure to do well, or if she felt so rejected, or was making friends because she was finally doing well at soccer, that would have been great. But instead, we get nothing out of it.
No, I did like how, though, like, Homer enticed her back onto his side with the documentary.
Yeah.
Produced by the PBC.
In association with some French production company I've forgotten.
Yeah, and then, like, yeah, she's trying to withhold her excitement. Then she's like, ooh, gimme, learning. And even then, I liked the start of the documentary where the two guys fighting. Oh, that boy's a flopper. Oh, no, he isn't. Oh, yes, he is. I say he is.
No, he isn't. I say he isn't.
Oh, well, I say your mother can kiss my bum. Like, fantastic Americans delivering English lines.
I know, I do. Like,
It is pretty good.
I say your mum can kiss my bum.
Yeah. And yeah, but I hated it when it went to, like, the Virgin Mary broke out of a
Yeah.
thing. And
But
then...
what about him fighting for like 30 years still?
Oh,
an
yeah,
okay
yeah.
joke.
The cut back to the original fight.
That
was
fight
good, yeah.
is still
So
going
good.
on.
Yeah, one of them's fighting with a walker, and then there's another
wheelchairs.
dude that's, kicking a grave.
No,
and-
he goes from fighting a guy with
That was
fighting a
great.
guy
Yeah.
with a chair to fighting him with a walker, and then pans over and guys just kicking a
Yeah.
tombstone.
It's not enough that he's already dead and was buried where they were fighting, but...
Stop, he's already dead.
And yeah, Bart gives over 2/3 of his energy life to save Marge, and yeah, then all the people in the game find out that Bart's weakened and they go attack him and punch him in the family jewels, which was so on the nose. And
That wasn't the nose, that was the crotch.
yeah, it was
When
right.
they
in-
chopped his arms off, they didn't do a Monty Python reference. I was really upset.
I know,
Yeah.
because he totally looks like the Knight as well. Like,
It was but a scratch, but
Yeah.
anyway.
But
That was
it's one of those ones
upsetting.
where I can't tell if him looking like the Knight is meant to be that, or if it's just a coincidence, because there's no allusion to it. It's a little bit, not, I don't know.
I don't think it was connected to it
There
at all.
was Smithers is dressed like Conan the Barbarian, but
Oh,
that's about
yeah.
the only reference I
I
only
didn't see
kind of
that.
quickly caught it. It's there really briefly. That's the
Yeah.
only like intentional reference. Cause
Well, that
it's
goes back to
definitely
why
Conan.
is Mr. Burns on the computer in the first place.
So,
Yeah.
It's just,
He's like, I'm going to make myself look sexy. You praying mantis.
maybe.
Praying
And-
mantises eat there.
Yep.
Anyway.
Bite my head
Yeah.
off, sir.
So the the episode pretty much ends with the people in the game who are. What is that thing with the Renaissance and they're
round
like,
the maypole.
that's what it is. That's
Yeah, it's
round
a
the
maypole. Very Swedish.
with
Trust
me.
with the Shadow Knight's intestines.
Yeah, which I don't know. Is this me being conservative? I thought that was like gross, but I don't know. Maybe in something else I would
Well, you know
have
how
liked it.
violent these video games are.
No,
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it.
Nah, I thought it was a bit. bleh.
It's a bit Celtic. You know?
I don't know.
Yeah. The only other things I wanted to say about the episode, the joke about the real Mo. You know, Mo, who are you? What have you done with the real Mo? And then,
Yeah, and then
like,
cuts to a tied up Mo.
call back to, like, where Mo's like, all right, they're on to us. Get them back to SeaWorld. And,
Yeah, only a bad, stupid version of that.
yeah. And, Homer, when he's quitting refereeing, is just painting over his ref shirt and
I
making
like
it
that.
white. Like,
I like
Yeah, I
that.
like that.
funny, visual, didn't draw too much attention.
Yep.
Not bad.
Yeah, if he had said, I'm painting my ref shirt to use as a work shirt, that would have been
Yeah.
too much. But just, again, the visual is funny.
And yeah, ends out with the family playing a friendly game of soccer, and Renato goes, I taught them too well.
Actually, and then cuts to Marge, who's still playing the game inside, but killing everyone who killed her son.
Yeah.
It's just...
Oh, yeah, and that's how they tied it back. She was doing soccer juggling ball with
Yeah.
Mo's head.
And Mo's like, why am I paying $14 a month for this? Wow.
Yeah, take that,
Credits.
WoW players. Before we hit the questionnaire, did either of you guys play WoW at all, or?
I've been addicted to Minesweeper before. So when you've been addicted to Minesweeper, you avoid the game that addicts people who don't usually like video games.
And you,
I
Kristen?
played it for about 2 weeks, and it was
Yeah.
on my roommate at the time's account, and yeah, he cancelled it, and I felt quite grateful.
Yeah. Because we had a friend that was obsessed with it, and he moved to Queensland a few years ago, and I went up to his house, and they were still very much playing it, and I'm like, what's the appeal with this game anyway? And they sit me down, they put me into a new character, and yeah, all I'm doing is like killing hogs and collecting shit, and like
Yep.
all of a sudden 3 hours went by,
Yeah.
and we're like looking around, and I'm like, did that just happen? And like, yeah, from then on, I pushed it away and I said, nope,
Yeah.
not
that's
doing this.
exactly why I never started, because I know I'd be there right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it showed me, like, because I used to have a PC when I was a lot younger, but not like a gaming PC, and I'd always been more of a console player. But yeah, WoW showed me that I could very easily spend tens of thousands of dollars on a good PC to play these sorts
Speaking
of
of
games.
tens of thousands of dollars, I've heard of characters going for that much.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
people eventually, like, I don't know, get a girlfriend or something, and they're like, you got to stop. Sell it for 10 grand, go on holiday with your new girl. You
Yeah.
know, it's a good way to start a new life.
No, that's right. Like, Shag was mentioning in a previous episode of this podcast, like, Korean gold grinders who, do that. Like, they just make characters in MMOs and just fucking do
And
that
farm
shit.
gold and then sell it for real world money. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always been my saying about the whole thing. You know, if video games are drugs, World of Warcraft is fucking heroin. Like,
yeah, that's what I've heard.
yeah,
It's like super meth.
yeah. Whereas me, I'm all about Mario. He seems like the pot of video games.
Yeah. Shiny, colorful, fun.
Yeah. It is time for the questionnaire.
Just quickly before that.
Before the questionnaire.
Yeah, sorry to cut this in, but I wanted to mention it before. Mel's at the PTA meeting. Who the hell is Mel's kid?
Yeah, it's something that we've sort of stumbled upon where he is so active in the community.
But yeah, why is it a PTA? I've never seen him with a kid.
No, it makes no sense.
There could be a good joke if he was just looking after Krusty's kid because Krusty's shit at being a dad. That'd work.
That makes sense, but yeah, Krusty's kid is conveniently only here in this episode for just one shot, and it's so unnecessary, especially when, like, you know, like, because Krusty's kid was voiced by Drew Barrymore, and you see it, and you're like, oh, she's in this episode, and she's not. And same with Jessica Lovejoy, that's Meryl Streep, and you're like, oh, again, nope. Anyway,
It's just keeping the visual of the character alive. But no, I just saw Mel at the PTA, and I'm like, if you don't have a kid, it's weird to be at a PTA meeting, dude.
he was just there for the orange juice. Splendid. It is time for the questionnaire.
I believe it is.
Play count. How many times do you think you've seen this one?
I know I've seen it at least once before, so.
Yeah,
Never.
never. First time. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. Like I said, one that I've actively avoided, but I've dipped back into the well for whatever reason. I think it may have passed the hangover test a couple of times, I guess. Another weird thing is, like, this is so geeky, but when American shows come to Australia, they have to convert it from NTSC format to PAL. And in that conversion, it actually speeds up the product by 4%. And
That's a lot of percent.
yeah, it pushes like vocals up like a semitone higher, and like, yeah, increases the pacing as well. Now, a lot of TV shows don't bother correcting this error because it's pretty unnoticeable.
And they have to do something that no one's going to notice, or they can
Yeah.
just not do that.
Yeah. Like, they do it for movies because, you know, there's more money on the line, but when it's TV, they're like, fuck it. You know,
Yeah.
what's an extra 4%? Now, but sometimes it actually gets doubled because they send the file back and forth. And in the syndication version of this show, yeah, it was sped up to 8%. So, like, I remember watching it for the first time on Channel 10 that it was just this ridiculous episode where everyone's voices were so high
A
and
little bit chipmunk.
everything just blasted through the plot. Like, it was just a really weird thing. Anyway, yeah, I bring it up because I noticed this bug, and I fucking hate it because they don't bother fixing it on DVDs, and especially at a point where it's like everything's on streaming, we need incentive to buy DVDs. They don't fucking fix the format, and, you know, God damn it, our television watchers have rights too, you know?
Well, not only that, it's
We're
like,
sick of being repressed.
hey, do you want to buy this product that's effectively broken, or you
Yeah.
want to steal it for free, which is wrong and naughty? It's like, well, fix your shit.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. When you download the fucking illegal stuff, it's better than the fucking legal way. So, yeah, and that's what killed the DVD market.
Gee, it's convenient, free, and correct. Which one am I going to choose between that and broken and expensive?
So, in answer to that question, I've probably seen it 6 times.
Long answer.
Did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I'm going to say no, because Lisa's off point for no particular reason, and for a while I like where they're going with Marge, but then she just doesn't do anything, and it's like Marge getting a new obsession. We've hit that a few times, and it's been pretty interesting.
And
but this
Marge
is
sort of momming all over Bart, stuff like, yeah, I wish there was something more interesting than, yeah, he kills her, then he brings her back, and then, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just... It might just feel like a Simpsons episode, like just a little bit.
The show fell off, though.
Yeah, but the whole Lisa
storytelling.
plotline really kills it for me. But I'm going to say just barely feels like The Simpsons.
And the pacing of the B plot, where it was introduced, how it didn't cut back and forth or establish any greater connection between the two stories.
Yep.
Wackiness.
Everything wacky happened in the game.
Yeah.
So.
And Ronaldo's wackiness. Ronaldo, away.
I can't tell if I liked it or it irritated me.
Yeah, it's one of those tricky things. I kind of do like he just shows up just to do that, as in that's what he's doing these days.
Yeah, it was that 5 seconds of like, oh, Ronaldo. And then,
Ronaldo.
it's Ronaldo.
You're still here, are you?
Yeah.
And yeah, because of all that, it didn't really have a lot of heart in the end, did it? Like,
No.
they tried to force a moment with Lisa's apology.
But it felt really flat and stupid, and I didn't care. And tried to push some heart with Bart resurrecting Marge, but again, I'm watching this going, she just respawned. Why do you have to resurrect her? She's not dead. What game that makes you pay for, $14 a month is going to kill you permanently?
No perma kills. All right, and yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to think about The Hangover. How close is the remote? Like, is it on my chest where it should be?
You know what? You're not sure, but you're pretty sure that's what's poking you from the wedge of the couch.
I hope that's what that is. Percentage sure, like 50-50. What am I looking at, 60-40?
You kind of have to twist your body in a weird, awkward way to check, so you don't have a lot of motivation to change the channel.
Bit of yoga when you're
Yeah.
hungover.
That's right.
I'd move. Yeah, I would get the remote for that. Maybe, hopefully, I'd pop my spine while I was at it and be like,
Oh, yeah, get one of those good stretches, get all the oxygen in the joints.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'd definitely go for that.
Yeah,
It sounds like there's way too much benefit to sitting to watch this.
yeah. Oh, God, I love a good stretch when I'm hungover.
Sounds like
Yeah, don't we all?
I mean to stretch more often. It sounds fun.
It is good.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm actually surprised how, like, because I was enjoying the start of this episode. Like, a lot of the stuff.
I was expecting to full hate it, and I only just kind of don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Would you watch it again?
I would, because the one-liners.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I don't remember much from, like, series and stuff like that. So, like, if I was hungover especially, I wouldn't be remembering.
Yeah.
So at least I'll get a couple of chuckles out of the way and maybe have a nap.
Yeah, fall asleep during the Lisa parts and then...
Yeah, exactly. The funniest parts were in the beginning anyway.
You're asleep,
That's
and
right.
you hear this. Ronaldo.
Yeah, that's right. As soon as Ronaldo comes on, it's like, okay, good night.
Yeah. All right. May as well playlist gaming in The Simpsons.
Sports.
Homer jobs.
Sports.
Soccer
Yeah,
episodes.
mentally.
Soccer episodes
Yeah.
like that.
Riot episodes.
Pick up butt. You could pair it with that. Trap
Tramp
you
you
kip. Yeah. All right. Let's rank this thing.
Deal.
BT, kick it off.
I was sitting bronze-ish and then participant, then failure. I'm going to go with a participant because I didn't end up disliking as much as I thought I would or remember doing. And it starts off pretty well, except I just feel like it doesn't go anything. One of my last notes is doesn't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
and there are definitely the pieces for an episode there. They just didn't put them together properly. It's like Homer making a grill,
Yeah.
you know? Barbecue pit. Let grill? The hell is that? Yeah, so for me it's a participant because it's okay. It's not offensive. If I was heavy into Warcraft, I might be getting furious at it, but
Yeah.
nah, it's all right.
Okay. Christy boy?
I'll give it a bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it in the beginning. It did trail off a fair bit, but I kind of like the encouragement it will give me to watch the South Park episode. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, no, that's fair. Look, I was almost at a bronze, but like, in talking about it and the messy plot, it only just falls short to a participant for me. Like, on another day, this might be a bronze for me. Like, honestly,
I know the feeling, yeah.
it's there's some inherent problems which sort of fuck up the goodwill brought on by the first act. Again, we've said it before. You stumble in the beginning, slouch in the middle, but bring it home at the end, and that's not what this one
Stick
did.
the goddamn landing.
Stick the landing. Which is interesting. That's only the second shiny participant that we've
Really?
crowned. All right, guys. That does it for our teens episode. Now we're going back to the classic era.
And what are we watching, Elliot J. O'Neill?
Porn.
What would you say if I was to... I keep doing that. I fucking don't listen to you, but then my brain listens to you, and my brain registers what you said to me like 2 seconds
I
later.
do it sneakily and a little bit silent, so you
You could
don't
have
know.
just blamed a delay in the headphones, but no, you were honest, and I appreciate that. You're like, nope, that's just my brain.
Yeah, there's a delay because I'm in Denmark.
Surprise butt sex.
So what would you say if I asked you, where's my elephant?
I'd say, love that song. Reminds me of elephants.
So yeah, we're going to go back to season 5 and watch Bart Gets an Elephant.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
And we are back, and we just watched our classic era episode for tonight. But before we do go on, through the magic of podcast magic,
Yep.
I have turned Christian into Jordan.
Yeah.
It
He got
is.
taller and a lot less beardy.
Yeah. That beard has to go somewhere, and it's gone right to my knees.
All right, and welcome to the Dank Jordan. How are you doing this evening?
Fantastic. We had some amazing Mexican food.
Ate from Beach Burrito Company in the heart of Newtown. Guys, what'd you think of the burritos?
Hardly any cockroaches. No, I jest. It's quite good.
Yeah. No, they do a good burrito. I got my burrito Cali style, which is where you replace your rice and beans with hot chips. Really
Did you
good.
like it? Yeah.
Oh, so good.
It's just really nice and fresh. Really good, good ingredients. And that jalapeno poppers were spicy.
Yeah,
Spicy.
I had the spicy hiccups after those ones.
Really? You thought that was spicy? Okay.
Oh, hardcore beef.
I'm just saying. I was going to comment on how they were a pleasant low-level spiciness, because you don't want a popper to be hardcore. It's a popper, damn it. You meant to down it quick and get on with your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just they left some of the seeds in. It was enough to
Just some pep.
notice it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, we just watched our classic era episode for this evening as well. And it was Bart Gets an Elephant, Season 5, Episode 17, first aired in March of 1994. And in this episode, Bart gets an elephant.
I love the ones that are simple.
Yeah. The synopsis is the title.
Yeah.
Guys, what did you think?
So very, very, very quotable.
Yeah, I forgot how much was actually in this episode.
Yeah.
Like
I
little things, like
know.
little side jokes that you're like, oh yeah, it's in this one. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Really good.
A lot of fantastic Homer lines that I've
Yeah.
used, just put them in place of other things.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that I'd even forgotten the setup. Like,
Yeah, Homer's very background in this one, or like little side jokes that. But yeah, like I think everything on my notes, I think everything is quotes.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like again, you know the plot line. I mean, we'll run through it briefly, but during a day of cleaning, Bart's standing around when KBL calls him up, and he says KBL is going to give me something stupid. To which they offer him $10,000 or a fully grown adult African elephant, and he takes the elephant.
You know what? I think that would be worth more anyway. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, if you were
definitely.
doing
Oh, yeah.
economically,
But who's going to really pick the elephant?
well, yeah. I mean, look, if you're a kid though,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
absolutely what you would pick, because money kind of is a strange concept as a child. We're kind of like, I know you need it, and $10 is a lot when you're a kid.
Yeah,
Or maybe,
yeah.
maybe not
10,000
now.
is a lot, but you'd be like, yeah, you know what I'd do with $10,000? I'd buy an elephant.
That's so much
So
like
just
cost, right?
cut
When
out the
am I going to
middleman.
have another opportunity to get an elephant? And yeah, in the Twitter poll that we ran the other day, we gave our audience a choice. What would you rather, $10,000 or a fully grown African elephant? 71% of our voters went with the elephant.
Yeah,
What?
there we are. So we made jest at Bart's decision, but a lot of people out there are like elephant hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not literally.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, so at the start of the episode, as we said, it starts out, the house is a mess, and Marge is fed up as all the family sit around and gorge their food, talking about their plans for the day. Not one of them involving cleaning. She's like, no, fuck this.
No, and what I love is the episode starts, Simpsons morning, boom, 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 kind of music.
That soft flute opening, yeah.
Marge walks out in her bathrobe. I immediately write down more underpants because I know it's coming.
I had a similar brain thing as well, but then when the bit actually comes up, the fact that the underpants are in the fridge.
Along with a bowling ball.
Yeah.
But they're not just in the fridge, they're like on top of, like, is it a stick of butter or something as well? They're not like
Homer
folded.
clearly ignored it. Like, put it in there for whatever reason and then ignored it as he piled something on top. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
It's
yeah,
good.
just so many explanations for what the hell happened.
Look.
Like, why are there muddy footprints on the cupboard doors up to the ceiling? Like, I just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
The inexplicable mess gags, yeah.
yeah, and Homer quote here, he's going to a beer drinking contest, and it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it's how drunk you get.
He says, son, when you compete in competitive sports...
Yeah. Competing. And I love Bart's explanation as well of a 6-year-old told me in Millhouse that there's a dead Martian out in the woods. We're going to go check it out. He just wants to believe it so bad.
Yeah, and I think it's a very quick, easy example of specific is funnier than general. It wasn't just someone told him there was a dead body. It's a 6-year-old who told him it was a dead Martian.
Yeah.
And of course, Lisa has like the sensible, like, there's like a jazz, like, I was about to say jazz cook-off. That's not a term.
Oh,
Sounds
that's what
fun,
they
though.
do down at the jazz bar. They have themselves a jazz cook-off.
They cook it, and hopefully they're cooking some cheesecake.
Ooh, we're simmering some tasty licks today. That's my jazz guy voice. And in the parade as well, I like how Bill Clinton was in there.
Yeah.
That like must have happened like relatively after that Arsenio performance, right?
I don't know, man.
maybe.
But I do like Mo stops and says, Clinton, get back to work and make me.
Yeah. And so Marge stops all the family as they're about to go on their day, and
Homer just, again, great line. Just, Mom, it's hard to get to the door when you're standing there. Push her down, son.
push her down. Just the indirect callousness. It's so good.
I think you'll find that escape is impossible.
Yeah.
I love Homer calls the basement. Everyone's like, fine. He's like, dough?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it going like, when they said, everyone pick a floor, and I was like, hold on then, 1, 2, 3. The basement, that's going to be easy. And then I forgot, like, oh yeah, shit, it's like the
Yep.
just
And there's
garbage pile.
a quick little bit of continuity I really like because they've got the Olmec head Estopolato kettle down there.
It was looking a bit more fluoro green
Yeah,
than the
well,
first
maybe
time,
it's
but
got-
it was there.
Maybe
at
it's got some mold on it by now.
Yeah.
It's been down there a long time.
It's long enough to have fluoro mold. I love how, even though this episode sort of felt like a bit of a sketch show, and especially in this intro, like, everyone had really solid, like, character focused bits to do in the cleaning montage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Homer just doing a bad job of the basement and causing, like, this little vacuum tornado.
And then calls it a day. And then he's
Well,
like,
I'm done.
we can't throw out our old TV guides. So many memories.
Oh, the Shazam. Like, I've not seen an episode of Gomer Pyle. Have you guys? Or
Yeah, man, of course.
Really?
Yep.
Is that what happens?
Yep.
Got one guy says Shazam, the other one says Pyle.
Yeah. God goes, Pyle. And he goes, Shazam.
It's very like old school.
It was
Like,
so
think
much
you're-
easier to amuse people in the 50s, I guess.
Yeah. Just look at Leave It to Beaver, you know.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it because it says like use in a well-ventilated area, and I'm like, you are in a well-ventilated area. Actually, it should be fine, Homer.
Yeah,
Don't
sure,
worry.
It's got little windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not if he uses it in a big, massive pile.
Just
And
dumps the whole thing just on the floor in one spot. Like, fuck it,
Yep.
whatever.
It's actually full of a bunch of parallel import gags here as
Yeah.
well. Mr. Cleansers, like Mr.
Yeah.
Sheen, and what was it? Terrapid was like instead of turtle wax,
Terrapin wax. And bubble off or something as
Yeah.
well. And like
Yeah.
little jellyfish.
And I love this hallucination
Yeah.
scene. It's beautiful.
Just being attacked by all the mascots. And then, Homer, what's wrong? Nothing. Well, be quieter then. Okay.
And it's so like such a weird choice that they had like all the like little characters like, oh, are we in trouble now
Yeah,
too?
yeah. They all take a
Like-
pause like,
looking really sheepish about it, like kind of scratching their neck, going,
Yeah.
Oops.
And it's like, oh no, we're okay. Let's just resume attacking him quietly. No, it's such an excellent choice.
Just after that, I'd never noticed before, but Bart's doing that real dick maneuver of getting the Neapolitan chocolate, the Neapolitan
Yeah.
ice cream, and just eating the chocolate.
Yeah.
Like, you asshole.
And also, he's cleaning that painting. That's the old couple. One of them's
Yeah.
got the pitchfork.
American Gothic, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what? And yeah, I was like, oh, what does he scrub it off and what does it turn into? Yeah, so stupid. Yeah, if you can read this, you scrub too hard.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's about to turn it into the Starry Night
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
and then it just keeps going. It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that it must be an original because underneath it is signed, if you can read this, you've scrubbed too hard, by signed Grant Wood, who is the artist. So
Oh, there we go.
they had an original version of what's probably a very expensive painting.
Yeah.
I did like how they set it up with the, just listen to the radio
Like
and
to
you'll
the music, yeah.
Yeah, so that they kind of allude that he's been there for hours listening to the
Yeah.
same station over and over and again and going, obviously he knows the competition and everything. So it's good that he's like, well, oh yeah, I know what to do. And so he
Yeah, it's a very
picks it up.
clean setup. And
Yeah.
when they first, okay, we're going to try a caller, and then the phone goes off, and he immediately picks it up and says, Gibby, I was going to give me something stupid. Without having to be told, he knows what this competition is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he knows what to say when the phone rings.
And we know what the competition is
yeah,
as well.
and then boom, we get it immediately.
Yeah.
So
And
it's-
they've reinforced it with a couple of other calls, like to the police station,
Yeah.
which was hilarious as well. They took our tasers and uniforms.
Fry, piggy.
What was the other call to?
Oh no, it was Abe calling, and it's
Oh,
like,
that's right.
don't-
Can't tap the line,
I'm
Grandpa.
having palpitations.
Perfect.
It's very clean writing because you don't need to sit there and listen to the radio tell, okay, this is the contest and this is the stakes and this is what you have to say. They just do
Yeah.
it. They tell you by doing.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, they do set it up really naturally, and that does make for a smooth transition between the cleaning story and the Bart gets an elephant story. And especially with the swinging door sort of putting an end to the cleaning off it, where,
yeah.
Do whatever you want, but don't mess up the house.
Yeah, and they swing the door, the kitchen's clean, it swings back, it's all messy again.
Because I love as well because they walk in, they're all dirty, and the house is all like got those little shiny sparkles.
Yep.
And they're looking so dejected, and yet as soon as they walk in the door, it's like poof, gone. See you later. There's like grape jelly on the ceiling again. and-
So yeah, Bart's doing the dick move, eating the ice cream, listening to the radio, and yeah, and I love in the moment as well where they call up the Simpson house, how Homer picks up the phone, and Bart takes it away, and then Homer's like still looking at his
It's like,
hand.
yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow.
He kind of like wiggles his fingers, like, is it still there? It's like they're so chubby, like he can't tell or something.
Yeah. And yeah, as the voice of reason as well, Lisa going, hey, guys, don't you see what's going on here? It's cruel to keep an elephant. And Homer, classic, Lisa, go to your room.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like the first of many of his unjustified Lisa, go to your rooms.
I actually really like Marge's line when she's like, with $10,000, we can get double light windows. It'll save us 20% on our heating bill. Well, it will.
Oh, and Homer's line, yeah, with $10,000, we'll be millionaires.
Yeah.
We could buy things like love.
Oh, man. Such a good bit.
Yeah, Homer's on top form in this episode.
And of course, the great line when Bart does pick up the phone with the phrase that pays, we have hot dog, we have a wiener.
Which again, I forgot was in this one.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well.
It's something I've quoted a lot, but I did forget it came from this one.
But I guess when you quote it, you're more doing the later bit, the DJ 3000, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
very
Yeah.
stilted.
Whoa, that was the caller from hell.
What's with those clowns in Congress? What a bunch of clowns.
How does it keep up with the times like that?
So good. Bart requests the elephant, and the radio guys freak out because that was the gag prize.
No
They
one
won't
takes the
expect-
gag prize.
Yeah. So they go up to the station and complain.
We have the great bit with Skinner with like, what if we pay your principal to pull his pants down and keep him down for this whole school year? I'll do it, Bart.
Yeah.
What if we fuse in some kind of lobster creature?
Wait a minute, that was never discussed with me. Yeah.
And then, yeah, when they kick him out as well, they do the old, toss him out the door. And then they toss out Homer, and
Yeah.
Homer loves it.
Yeah. I reckon he's probably got like a juicy butt, so it
Yeah.
would be like a soft cushion
Yeah,
landing.
for
He'd
sure.
be fine.
If his skull can take a beating from a
Oh,
2x4, his butt must just be. Yeah, even Mo says, "I gotta say, when you die, can I have your buttocks? They look comfy." But yeah, then Bart's outside yelling, "Where's my elephant?" We get the great
Yeah. And,
him yelling over the track.
yeah, because Grandpa and Jasper are listening to the radio, and that's that elephant song.
Love that song. Reminds me of elephants.
Which, yeah, it's one of those weird quotes. That, how have I managed to use this so much in my
I know,
everyday
and
life?
yet I have. It's just a general praise you can give to anything. People are like, "Hey, did you hear this track?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love that song. It reminds me of elephants."
Yeah. And so, yeah, the DJ Bot 5000 comes into play because they're threatening to fire the two radio broadcasters and replace them with this thing. So they make good on their promise, and the first act ends out with the elephant being dropped off at the Simpsons house. Now, when Marge first opens the window, is that a Jurassic Park, like, call the eye? Just where the pupil goes all fine?
Could be.
Like, I know it's not set up the same way at
Yeah.
all, but, like, just that shot. It's,
If
I'm
not,
gonna
it's,
say no, but
I was gonna
Yeah.
say if not a giant monster movie reference of some kind, it's probably been done in a Kong or a Godzilla or.
Anyway, so they get the elephant at the top of Act 2. Fantastic line again. I'd forgotten this line totally. Where Marge goes, "Homer, I think he could gore."
he does look like Al Gore.
Silly.
I was about to say it's that visual gag I remember, which is the Stampy like trumpeting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Santa's little helper and Snowball just
Bolt.
running away,
Just
and like just over the horizon, like
They
stick their
trumpets
heads
again.
up.
They hit
Yeah.
Yeah, heads go
I
straight
do
back
actually really love Santa's little helper and Snowball in this episode.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
Trying to get attention.
as they're constantly, and they're upping their game each time.
Yeah.
First they're on balancing on balls.
And they're playing piano.
playing chopsticks, and then we love you.
Fucking learn to speak. Whilst balancing. Oh,
So good.
hilarious.
Especially after the ball one, and they're like, "What's with them?" "Oh, I think they're trying to get some attention." Good luck.
Homer just writes them off.
I forgot as well that he thinks his people is from this one as well.
Yeah. I'd also forgotten the In Theory Communism Works was from this one.
I can't remember the lead up either. That's the weird. I wrote the same line down because I've used it plenty of times.
So it's set up with Marge going, "I think this is a really bad idea," and Homer goes, "Marge, I agree with you. In theory. In theory, communism works. In theory." Which is weird. It's such a disconnected setup, which I guess makes this a great sort of quotable moment because you can put it anywhere.
Yeah, detach it and put it to anything.
I feel
else.
like maybe they came up with the really good joke. I'm like, oh, how do we wedge this in?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
This is a bad idea. I agree with you in theory. If you just left it at that, it doesn't really make sense. But they're like, we have to put this joke in
Yeah.
somehow.
Yep, someone fell in love with it.
Some
so
crazy
it's,
how.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
And actually, for this reason, I might start including who wrote the episode in because it does play some importance.
We have given.
Oh, God, of course. It was a John Swartzwelder.
Right, there you go.
Well, we have given Tim long enough shit. We may as well praise the good if we're gonna, torture the bad.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, and at the top of Act 2, it really starts off like being more of a sketchy sort of a Simpsons. So
Yeah.
that sounds weird, sketchy.
Yeah.
No, it's more of like sketch-based humor, lots
Yeah.
of different segments, but
What's everything we can do with an elephant?
yeah. But it keeps reinforcing something that I like is that the humans keep trying to romanticize the elephant and keep expecting cartoony behavior out of it, but
Yeah.
Stampy himself just keeps reinforcing that he is a very giant, dangerous animal.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a normal elephant behavior, but the fact he keeps picking people up and
And just
putting
butter
them
in his mouth.
in his mouth like a pacifier, almost
Yeah.
like a dummy. I
Now
don't know
I've
if that's
had I had in a elephant, a hippo, and a giant sloth.
sloth.
Yep. And just before that, we've got the great line of, well, he wouldn't get so hungry if we tied him down. You can't do that. It's cruel. Oh, everything is cruel to you. Pulling in his tail is cruel. Yelling in his ears is cruel. Everything is cruel. So excuse me if I'm cruel.
Which I actually noticed as a kid that all the things that he lists off are things that happened in Dumbo.
Oh.
In that scene where, the crowd's gathering around him and pulling on his tail, yelling in his ears and whatever and all that stuff.
Trying to
did
chain him
not know
down
that.
so he doesn't eat.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Poor Dumbo.
Yeah, he had it rough.
And talking about sort of favorite segments out of the middle section here, I love that they go to the Arboretum to get him food.
Yeah.
And the sign says Arboretum brackets a tree place.
Yeah.
It's just super funny to me, especially because like my mum takes my nephew, her grandson, to the Arboretum near her house, and it's just weird because he's like 3 and he knows the word Arboretum.
That's,
A word I only
Really?
found out like
He
about-
doesn't just like say all burrito.
I kind of feel like Springfield is exactly the kind of place that would have on their signs
A little
Springfield
explanation.
Arboretum, yeah, tree place or something like that, or
But we do then get to the wonderful line where the bird lands on top of Stampy and starts pecking
Yes.
it. It's like it's grooming him. It's like, cuts it. Oh, there's a bird on your head. I know. He's grooming me.
Yeah.
Elephant fresh.
And they're going through the bills as well, and people rock up on the door. Classic Simpsons bit where they offer money to see the elephant. Homer tells them to go
an
away.
idea.
And then goes, this gives me an idea, and he's hammering a go away. So, like, it's just...
Well, as you've mentioned before, Schwartzwalder has that really good misdirect humor.
Yeah.
where,
Where, you think you know where Homer's going with this, but no, he just doubles down.
Because I love as well because it's you just see the post at first, like coming in from top of the screen, like you haven't, and then the sign kind of gets revealed as it gets hammered into the ground. You're like,
And then even the follow up line where Bart's holding the see the elephant $1,
$1.
ride the elephant $2. Like, here's a better sign. I don't have time to read it. Just give me the gist.
It really rides the line of like jerk ass Homer, where you don't actually think he's like doing it to be a prick, but
He's just super lazy. And it's like, fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah.
he
And
just wants peace and quiet.
Yep.
And-
Please leave me alone.
so in this scene, this is our first appearance of Cletus.
This is actually the first one, is it?
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
For me, this is like the kind of the proper way to do a Cletus joke. It's just like that one line,
Yeah.
Yep.
just in and out, no explanation, just kind of dropping him in, just get him to say his funny line, and then
Go on.
move on.
Yeah, you're not hitching a plot point to his wagon. Like,
That is not a wagon that can pull a plot.
no.
Nope. Because that's another quotable moment. Hey Ma, look at that pointy head little girl.
Yeah.
Like,
Another favorite bit in here, and I'd forgotten this one. Burns is riding the elephant and goes, "Oh, Smithers, this is like when I used to ride that fat man to work."
he gets all the money from the $58, and it's all profit.
Stampy's food bill was $300 today.
Don't humiliate me in front of the money.
I don't know, he
That's a
kind
good
of coddles
line.
it to the side.
yeah. Don't let the money see.
He like fans it out, and as soon as she says, it, kind of like wraps it all up again.
yeah.
But then he goes over to like the Millhouses.
The Van Hootens.
The Van Hootens. I was like, wait, that's not right. It's like Millhouse saw the elephant twice and rode him once, right? Yeah. But then like Kirk has a backbone.
And
Yeah.
get off her property.
Yeah. Just immediately like sitting there, it's still like happy families because he's like got his arms on
Yeah.
Luann.
I really wonder how many houses Homer went to with that new pricing structure.
Yeah.
I think it was just them because he knew them.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
doesn't know who the hell these other people are.
Yeah,
They're
that's
just
true.
suckers.
But and the other thing I noticed, he saw the elephant twice. Was that over a couple of days? Like, how do you like turn around? You owe us another $1.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
you know what? Considering his rule was like, when that kid gets like thumped by the
Ah,
elephant,
your
yeah,
kid
yeah.
flew 5 feet, the $2.
counts as a ride. Well, that was never 5 feet just now.
I love that that's the counter argument.
Yeah. And at this point in the story, they realize they can't keep Stampy anymore, and they're going to sell him. Now, I don't get this first guy who's like, I both do want
love
and
this.
don't want an elephant. What
This
does
is
it? And I don't understand it. What
Well-
does it mean?
It's just, I don't know, the guy's in need of the exact thing they have, but for some reason it's also like, yeah, but no.
I couldn't tell if it's either a riff on, that people that are just want to knows about your property and so they pretend to be the thing. But then there's also those people who are kind of just trying to bargain you down saying, this is the one I want, but it's just not the right price.
I just feel like it's a joke on Springfield that here's a guy who for some reason needs enough. It's just the overly specific joke, It's
Yeah.
like, well, I'll be honest. I need a adult male African elephant, and I need it today. But this just isn't what I'm looking for. It's like,
talking
what,
about it. It's
what,
an African elephant.
what
Well, it isn't.
circumstances led him to needing one to
Yeah.
begin with, and then he's just still like, meh.
Yeah.
But he looks like a kind of a dicey guy. Like he's got that kind of the grow, like the 5 o'clock shadow and the mussy hair
Yeah.
and like the sleeves rolled up, and
Yep.
so you're kind of like wondering, who is this guy?
And
Yeah.
but,
That's kind of why I also thought it might be is elephant slang for drugs, but then
Oh.
no, he
like
doesn't-
no.
You would have figured that out the second someone showed you an actual elephant.
Yeah. So after weird dodgy guy, there's the
Animal sanctuary guy.
animal
Yeah.
sanctuary guy. Yeah.
He goes, so I have 2 questions. How much? And give it to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of 1, where's the 5? 2, give me the 5.
But yeah. Can't give you any. So your offer is 0.
Well, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, but really, I,
I said
think that
thank you. And then the ivory dealer as
Yeah.
well, Mr. Blackheart.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Dad, I think he's an ivory dealer. His boots are ivory. His hat's ivory. I think that check's ivory. Flicks it. Yeah.
And that perfect little thunk of it, like that.
And also, his pen, he like clicks it, and it's like in a horn.
Yeah.
And, like the pen
Yeah.
just comes out at the end.
But I love the explanation of Lisa. A guy with lots of ivory is less likely to hurt Stampy than a guy whose ivory supplies are low.
Yeah. Also, I love that. Mr. Black, are you an ivory dealer? He goes, well, in my day, I've been a seal clubber and all this other stuff.
Whale hunter, and
Yeah.
president of the Fox Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like everyone, I've dabbled in a little ivory. So good.
Yeah, and it closes out. Homer makes the deal and goes, "Here's the keys."
Elephants don't have keys.
I will keep these then.
And that bit actually kind of bugs me because the guy's voice sounds really Lovejoy just for that one line.
Yeah, when he
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, all right, I'll pick him up in the morning." Like it feels like it changes character
No,
there.
just on elephants don't have keys. He
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
exactly like Lovejoy at that point, whereas before he was a little gruffer.
Yeah. He definitely smoothed out with that line.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on, elephant. Here's the keys. That was so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
I always assumed, though, that it was the keys to the ankle cuff.
Oh, really? I think it's just Homer assuming elephants have
Yeah. Act 3 closes out with Bart rescuing Stampy, taking him out of the shackles, and then
Yeah.
Stampy just busts through.
Well, just before that, you've got, okay, we'll head south, sticking to the back roads. Then if I know my geography, it's only 12 miles to Africa.
yeah, that's right. And he's got his skateboard, and then just Stampy bashes him out of the way and just starts plowing through fences. And a really stupid joke from Flanders here.
Yeah.
It's the 4 elephants of the apocalypse.
That's horseman, Nettie.
Well, we're getting closer.
That's so dumb, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's a Homer mistake to make.
Especially
First of all,
because-
there's one.
Yeah.
Second of all, elephant.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, especially because we know that the Flanders, even the Rod and Todd, know the Bible back to front.
Yep.
They know the spin-off books.
Yeah, I guess it's at his expense, but I
Well,
guess
he
maybe
just-
he's half asleep.
He just
and-
woke up. Even Flanders isn't tip-top shape.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
I imagine he goes to bed with the sun. So
Yeah.
probably like 6:30. He'd probably been asleep for 4 hours at that stage.
He'd be like, God means it to be dark. I should be asleep.
I love when Lisa bursts into the room and's like, Stampy's gone and so is Bart.
That is because that ivory dealer.
Yeah. He took part 2. That wasn't part of the deal, Blackheart. That wasn't part.
You can't tell, but we're all lifting fists.
Yeah, with our eyes closed, like raised to the heavens.
Wrath of Khan style.
Yeah.
Actually, that was the second sort of moment like that Homer had in this episode. We skipped over it before, but when he's in the basement, Marge tells him off and he goes, "Why do we need to be so clean anyway? Are we so vain?"
There's so much in this. I thought of something else we forgot, but I forgot it. So,
We'll have to try and
I
remember
know
it.
that was it when Bart's in the treehouse and he pats Stampy goodnight.
Oh, yeah.
Crawls up, gets in bed, and the trunk comes in.
Yeah,
moves
and
the blanket up, lovingly strokes his head,
Cuddles
wraps around him.
him.
He's like, yeah, and then just pulls him into his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bart.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So Stampy's smashing his way through town, and the bit with the guys carrying the sheet of glass.
Yeah.
I love
Classic.
it.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, and straight into the recycle bin. No, the next bit I think is my favorite part because it was when Simpsons didn't have a political. It didn't kind of steer towards one political party or the
keeps
other.
it balanced, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in Swartzwelder episode where I feel he's like a Republican-leaning sort of libertarian
Yeah, probably.
sort of guy, but like he does.
financially or fiscally conservative, liberally.
Yeah,
you know,
but yeah, liberal in like his beliefs.
Social.
Socially liberal, but
Yeah, but the two sides, like they go through a Republican convention, it's like, we want what's worse for everyone.
Yeah.
Or we're
Yeah,
plain
basically.
evil. And then the other one, the Democrats, we hate life and ourselves. We can't govern. Like,
yeah.
These
which
are your
is-
options, America.
Which is basically, I feel, still relevant today.
Yeah, and then Stampy makes his way to the peanut factory, and
I love this whole rant.
yeah,
I'm going to see how far I can get through it. Hang on a second. This is it, people. The day we feared.
We've been
Many of you
training.
thought I was mad,
Yeah.
but I insisted we train 2 hours every day. Many of you complained. Some even requested to be transferred to another peanut factory.
And then Sammy just bursts in.
but
It's like,
yeah,
well,
that he'd had this
all for
like
naught.
overly paranoid concern about an elephant coming through and
2
destroying
hours
the,
every day training.
that he would also be wasting time right now with this giant "I told you so."
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point, the "I told you so" was more important.
Yeah. Requested be transferred to a different peanut factory. So telling, so telling. So it's nighttime now, and Bart finds Stampy in the, like, basically the Labrie tar pits of
Yeah.
Springfield.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's like a sign gag I half got and then missed. It's like, the best entertainment in Tar.
Yeah. And the classic bit where, yeah, the Simpson family also catch up to them. Homer in the car knocks down a what is it called? A fossilized deer? Or
I guess.
I guess, preserved.
Yeah.
a preserved deer, and then a deer, a
Female deer.
Which I found out about that song because of this episode.
Oh,
Really?
really? There you
It
go.
wasn't drilled into your skull.
No, I still haven't seen Sound of Music in full.
Oh, God, you
okay.
son of a bitch.
My parents didn't force it on me, and every time I've tried to watch it since, I keep falling asleep.
Like it, you got to take the XKCD approach, Paige. It's much more fun to show someone for the first time than to
No,
take them for them.
I don't want to show it.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
I like the
I'll do it.
XKCD
Yeah,
idea of when you find out,
Yeah.
when you find out someone hasn't seen something, instead of berating them, go show them. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But no, it's just because I was, repeatedly sat down and forced to
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah.
Ben, it's culture, but I've seen it. Shut up and watch it.
Yeah. I love the little speaker and the thing saying, the tar, preserve them in showroom condition, like the animals.
Such a weird reference. And Homer's also, he gets out of the car and he's saying, no, I'm going to sell this elephant. The animal refuge won't give me any money for him. And as he's grandstanding, just slowly sinking into the
Yeah.
tar.
Yeah.
There's got one of my other favorite lines of, I'll just pull my legs up with my arms, and I'll pull my arms out with my face.
Straight down.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. And so in this moment as well, Stampy reaches in for Homer and pulls out Barney,
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
been there for how long? And
And like,
Immediate-
thanks, Sammy, and then just like walks off into across the
immediately
tar
goes
pit.
to light a cigarette.
Yep.
And
But you just get to go down and stay to, ow.
Yeah.
yeah, and so Stampy rescues Homer, and another. Fuck, there's so many good Homers in this. He goes, and I'm safe, and it's all thanks to this feisty feline.
Dad, feline means cat. It's
Elephant.
an elephant.
It's an elephant. Such a jerk. Such a
But
dumb
even
jerk.
then he goes straight into, and I'm sure he'll make a grand piano.
Yeah.
Dad. And then it's straight after that, doesn't he go, it's something like, oh, he saved my life. Oh, and the boy seems to have some kind of connection
Yeah.
with him.
Like Bart said to him 5 times, Dad, he's my friend. He's like, yeah, and the boy seems to have some sort of connection.
And who's to say what's right or wrong with all our modern ideas and products?
I like that, right?
Fine, we'll take the stupid elephant to the stupid animal refuge.
Yay.
And yeah, so the episode sort of ends out with them taking Stampy to the animal refuge, and Stampy turns around, grabs Bart. You think he's going into the mouth, and they
Yeah.
even
But no.
like have a couple of frames of him almost going in the mouth, but no, it puts him on his back finally.
Yeah, and this is what I wanted to mention before, because it's the classic comedy setup, reminder, payoff.
Yeah.
So you've got the setup the first time he scoops Bart into his mouth, the reminder when he does it in the treehouse, and then the payoff where instead of going for the full joke, you get the misdirect into a bit of a heart.
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
But then ultimately, Stampy is this big, gigantic, clumsy animal, and it's just pretty much shakes Bart off
Well,
as he's
there's
walking
even
off.
that bit at the tar pit where Bart's making one last plea and Stampy just slaps him in the side of the head.
Yeah, and
He's
then,
like, he's my friend. Ow.
and yeah, that it's following. He's my friend.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just an animal and it doesn't care.
Yeah, and yeah, the classic bit with Stampy immediately going in and just headbutting all the other elephants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
get
the
him,
final
Stampy.
little speech is just,
Yeah,
well, Mrs. Simpson, some animals act out because they've had a hard life or been abused. And just like people, some are just jerks. Stop that,
it,
Mr. Simpson. He's just headbutting him.
I'd like to think that Homer actually looked over and got the idea from Stampy at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
It was
not give me any money.
And the guy's just stoically just standing there, just taking it. And like, oh.
Mr. Simpson.
I've dealt with elephants before. All right, it is time for the questionnaire.
About time.
Play count. How many times do you think you've seen this one?
11T.
All right.
Where's my elephant?
Yeah, this is one I know I VHS taped it, fucking watched it 100 times. Any memories of how parts of this episode influence your life?
All the quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the quotes just coming. The communism quote, like
Communism.
all of this.
Hot dog, we have a wiener.
Yeah.
Playing the elephant song.
Yeah,
Geez, so much. Well ventilated area.
he thinks he's people.
Are we so vain?
Push her
Yeah.
down, son.
Everything is cruel. Elephant fresh. I love that one.
Look
It's
at
an
that.
elephant.
Ivory supplies are low. Just so many.
Look at that pointy-haired little girl.
Like-
Yeah.
Legs up with my hands up with my face.
No, it's so many good quotable moments. Did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Indubitably.
Yes.
Yep. Talk about the wackiness. It was Bart Gets an Elephant wacky.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they get there very organically, and this is not the first time a company has had to pay out a ridiculous prize because they promised it, not thinking anyone would ever do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Pepsi had a thing where if you got like 1 million ring pulls, they'd get you an F1 fighter jet, and someone did it.
Oh, God.
So they had to
yeah.
get them like that might be an urban legend, but I know there used to be a company called Burma Shave, who if you got like 100,000 of their bottle tops or whatever, their shaving cream product promised a trip to Mars, and someone actually did it. So they had sent them to Mars, Texas.
Oh.
It was actually spelled slightly differently pronounced Mars because they were like, we didn't think anyone would ever do this. So, it's wacky, but this shit does happen.
I
Yeah.
remember it was like Red Lobster had a deal once where it was like unlimited snow crab legs for $32 or
Yeah.
something. It completely exhausted the supply in the continental United States.
Wow.
They had to pull it after like a week because they just didn't. They thought maybe people will eat 1 pound, and people were eating like 3 or 4 pounds on average.
Yeah.
Multiple times a week.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where like you went all you could eat in the States. Come
Yeah.
on, this is not.
It was like a
Yeah,
challenge.
don't challenge these people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know there's an episode about eating too much, all the seafood you can eat.
I was going to say, in terms of wackiness as well, Barney's definitely dead.
Oh, yeah.
Wacky.
Oh, yeah, the wackiness.
Yeah, sorry.
Snowball 2, Santa's Little Helper, they get pretty wacky.
Yeah, very wacky.
There's no way to do that without being really creepy, is it?
Yeah.
But-
Kind of sound like a mogwai.
I know.
The amount of mess in the Simpsons household, super wacky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how quickly it
That door
emerges.
swing. But again, this is all just details and bits and
Yeah.
pieces. There's not. I mean, the biggest thing is the elephant, and you get there very organically.
And the elephant itself, as a was very grounded. Like
Yeah.
it acted like an elephant.
Like you
It-
said, everyone's expecting it to be, cartoon wacky, and it's just like, nope, just feed me and let me hit things with my trunk.
heart. Yeah, you do get the heart between Bart and Stampy.
Yeah.
Like even if it even in the treehouse moment, like it feels nice, and then he just shoves him in his mouth to remind him that
Bart's
he
just
is an
got something
animal.
ridiculous that he always wanted. And it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with that bit though as well is that it's almost like Stampy is being kind of loving, but he's trying really hard not to, and it's like,
Wait, the
I just
instinct-
got to put you in my mouth for a little bit, like. But then because then he puts him up and tucks him in again. It's like, oh, I do love you. It's just I really like putting you in my mouth.
I would also say there's a bit of heart between Mr. Burns and the memory of a fat man he used to ride with. He is so happy remembering
Yeah.
that.
That's right.
Never seen him so happy.
Exactly.
But ultimately, yeah, the heart comes around at the end with Homer deciding to not sell it to the ivory dealer, and
He really takes his time on that decision though. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yep.
it takes like even a rescue for him is not enough
Mm-hmm.
to do it, and it's like
He
it
was
take
very
6 or 7 attempts of them just going no, you really can't do that, no. And
Well, who
then-
wouldn't want to be made in a piano and be part of the music?
That's very true.
So yes or no? Would you watch it again?
Yep.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course.
Playlist. We're watching it again. What playlist do we put it in?
Pets.
Yep.
Split this with Laddie.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say soft flute opening.
Soft flute openings.
Yeah, like of the main
Final
theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played
Yeah,
on flute.
the morning theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentle morning.
One note character jokes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cletus appearances. There you go.
KBBL episodes.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Let's rank this thing.
I mean, if you insist.
Jordan, kick it off.
I know it's tough.
I'm a little
It's
bit
like-
torn. Yeah. I think I'm going to be a little bit harsh and give it a gold because it is. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I'm much the
Yeah.
same way.
The more I think about it, one, I think of the other, and then I switch back and forth. Look, I'm going to say a preliminary gold in case I change my mind in the next 5 minutes.
Sure.
Because it is really good and it is super quotable.
Mm.
But the only thing that makes me hold back is the fact that I'm thinking about all the quotes and not the episode. And I think that's the best part is all these kind of non sequitur quotes or events or
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
which is, maybe that's unfair of me to judge it based purely on that.
Beej, what do you reckon?
I'm much the same. I'm on the fence of it. Like, it is so highly quotable. Like I said, all my notes were quotes, but to the same effect, all of my notes were quotes. There wasn't like any really stellar plot points or really big moments that I really liked. It's just deciding whether or not that deserves the bump into the cubic because it is an incredibly iconic episode.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna go with my gut, and my gut has it just over the line into cubic.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go the cubic zirconia. It's. I completely agree with you though. It's one of those ones that I was watching and I get halfway through and I'm like, does this deserve that high praise? But I think it does make it. It like I said, it's so endlessly quotable. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the second you say to someone, "Oh yeah, Bart gets an elephant," they'll be like, "Oh, I love that episode."
Yeah. For me,
Ooh.
God damn it, I thought you guys had helped me here, but
No, because
now you're falling on either side.
we
and
all
you
have the
pretty much
same
said.
the same part.
We're
of it.
literally on either side of your shoulder going,
Yeah.
give it a gold, Elliot.
Not even that. We're both sitting in front of him, just going. I don't know.
Your guess is as good as ours, buddy.
Shrug.
Yeah, and look, something that I really liked about this episode, although the cleaning thing felt very separate from the whole elephant thing, you pointed out before, it was such a smooth transition that even overlapped a bit into the elephant stuff, and it was sort of all over within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the episode.
And it was funny.
Ultimately, a lot of good gags. What I would fault this episode on, it is more joke heavy. It's more separate sketches that revolved around what if the Simpsons had an elephant.
What if they were cleaning the house?
Yeah. But, I mean, for the reasons that, we were talking about in the wackiness and heart, how they balanced it all so well, like, it is pushed over to cubic for me, but just. Like, only just. There's a certain, I don't know what, missing.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I'm going to say it's a cubic, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's we're like a couple of percentage points just either side of
Yeah.
that line.
All right. Well, that about does it for the Simpsons Index, and thank you guys for joining me in the dank this evening.
It hasn't been 2 separate recording
You're
sessions.
so welcome. Yeah.
Not at all. And I'm your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and that's all the mustard in the house. Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
And for today's extra content,
Christian's a drummer, by the way.
Yeah.
You can hear his work on Mariah's album Inglorious Death.
I love to bang
He bangs the drums slowly.
very slowly,
And then fast, but then slowly.
firmly,
That's how drumming works.
consistent but slow.
he'll paradiddle your skins.
Paradiddly.
Oh my god, how have they not done a joke like that with Flanders yet?
Maybe they have. We
I'm
just
doing
gotta
a
find it.
paradiddle-diddle.
Flamadiddle. There's so many of them.
And it could have just been, an easy throwback to the old Martin joke where, I don't remember how it went. Sorry. This happens. This is the stuff that ends up on the cutting room floor. But, that's why we have the individual rankings to sort of give not only an idea of, where it sort of sits, but also the spectrum of where it sits, where one person's gold is another person's silver, like, or something. I think is the same.
Another person's butt plug.
That's the thing. There was those like Obama beach photos, and you're like, he looks after himself. You're never going to see a candid photo of Trump because he's gonna have hair. He's not gonna have hair. You can't go to the beach.
I
Surely.
I feel like Trump might be like a never nude, so there'll never be scandalous photos. Because under his suit is maybe that's why his suit looks so sloppy. Because under that is another suit.
Another suit.
His shower suit.